Hey, in the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. And we're happy you're spending some time with us. Day, one penultimate time here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. I'd say tell your friends and enemies, but hey, we're just happy you're hanging out with us.
Yeah.
On a off the rails Thursday. Zay, I know the fans, the listeners are going to be disappointed. Golf was canceled.
Oh, man.
Canceled because of the snow. Course is too wet.
Yeah.
Too wet. So there was no revelry out on the golf course today. Instead, I ended up chasing my dog around outside, trying to get him to trust me again. Because he's starting to get wise to my ways of when I need to reel him in. Full disclosure, the wife and I both work at home, and there are times where she's on calls and I'm on the show or whatever, so we put him in his crate. He ain't having it.
He done with that, huh?
Way too smart for that. So we finally corralled him. But here we are. How are you doing, Zay?
I'm good, man. Happy Thursday, everybody. Last Thursday here, TSU, Chip and Zay, ready to rock and roll. Feeling good, feeling great. Chip, how are you?
Yeah, man. We got a great show for you. We'll have Lance Taylor on at 2:30 and John Brown, two-time Mr. Universe, father to 3 5-star wide receivers' sons, Equinemius, Osiris, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, to give us his unique perspective on life. And, he'll have some advice for us.
Yeah, put us on game like he always does.
Right. Like he's always got perspective. He's always got.
What you stretching them hamstrings for?
What you stretching them for? You need those tight.
You need them tight, man.
Need them tight.
Stretching them.
Stop stretching those things.
Come on.
I mean, if you want to have an athlete, you can't breed an elephant with a mouse.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to breed an elephant with a giraffe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an age limit to weightlifting? Hell no.
No.
If he's 5 years old, get him on them weights, man. Get him on that bench press. Come on now. My man John said, who the hell was the person to say there's an age limit to lifting weights? Screw that person. That person doesn't know anything.
They don't know nothing.
They don't know nothing. Not nothing. Trick Daddy. Not another.
Not. Oh, man. Trick Daddy. Isn't he like the fastest rapper in the history?
I'd probably say Eminem or Twista.
Twista. Yeah, Twista.
Definitely Twista.
Twista, you can't even tell what they're saying.
I have no idea what Twista's saying.
It's just like, you're like, damn.
He's a legend, though.
Oh, yeah.
Twista's a legend. Shout out to Kanye West. Not now Kanye, then Kanye.
Right.
He made some hits for Twista.
Okay.
And Busta Rhymes, yes.
Yeah, Busta. Busta's up there.
Busta's up there.
Busta, yep. Yeah. And people are mad. People are mad.
Yeah,
that I didn't go play golf today. Well, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. I mean, take a couple shots on the show today.
I mean,
get there, might as well.
Well, here's the thing. I got to play tennis tonight.
Oh, man.
Got to play tennis tonight. We're in our mixed doubles league, and we're in first place, so I can't be screwing it up. You know what I mean?
Eleanor carries you anyway.
I know. We're actually playing a decent team tonight. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing some shots here on the show. Not opposed. But tomorrow, Oh, yeah. Tomorrow we'll be celebrating. We'll be celebrating life. That's what we do around here.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was looking at some of the commentary on different transfer portal hauls and Texas, the Athletic, they deem Texas a winner and they deem Alabama a loser. So we'll get Lance's perspective on that because, Alabama brought in some guys, some unheralded guys that, like from Mercer. And, it's either going to be like this brilliant evaluation or the beginning of the end for Kalen DeBoer,
He should have left to go to Michigan. That was a wasted opportunity. I'm sorry. Like, you stop trying to make people happy, man. I said the same thing about Chris Beard the other day. He's miserable down there in Oxford. Go after the Indiana job. Screw it. If they're willing to buy you out and pay Ole Miss, do it. Same thing with Kalen DeBoer. They threatening your children. You know what I'm saying? Kids at Alabama barely read. Threatening your children, talking about their daddy and stuff, for sale signs, the whole nine. They been one Kalen DeBoer out of there. He should have went to Michigan. Would have been a lot more comfortable, a lot more familiar. But no, I owe it to Alabama. They took a chance on me. Well, hey, it didn't work out. So now he's stuck. And now he has a transfer portal class that ain't what they want it to be. Hell, there's a quote going around Hollywood Smothers talking about why he chose Texas.
What'd he say?
According to the quote from On3, he said, NIL didn't play a big factor for me. I honestly just wanted to win. And I feel like we are in the best position to go win it all with the talent and depth at Texas.
There you go.
Boom.
Wants to win.
God, I'm
ready to win.
I mean, if I'm Kalen DeBoer, I'm like, what the hell? I made the college football playoff. I went to the SEC championship. Sark was watching me.
He won a game in the college football playoff. Beat them Sooners. Went up to Norman. Took him down.
So
yeah. So this here's what the Athletic says about Alabama's transfer portal class. This could end up being one of those situations where Kalen DeBoer looks like a genius by identifying players like offensive lineman Racine Delgatti from Cal Poly and cornerback Carmelo O'Neal from Mercer, who come into Tuscaloosa as unheralded FCS starters and become stars, or it could be the beginning of the end for DeBoer, who, despite leading the Crimson Tide to a college football playoff win in 2025, has a lot of Alabama fans concerned he's not the right fit to replace Nick Saban. I mean, who is?
Right?
Who is?
God would have a hard time trying to replace Nick Saban. Come on, man.
What?
Come on. These folks out here, again, that's all they have. They ain't got no pro team. All they have is Alabama football. You see Nate Oates. Nate Oates, he got these G Leaguers trying to play. Like,
man, people are going after Nate Oates.
Oh, yeah. They're going after Big Nate.
Because he's had some incidences on his teams. Some guns. Some pro players coming back to college. Nate's always looking, for an edge. But hey, what's that saying? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's not a great saying.
Not the best saying, but it's
not the best saying. But it is a saying. It's out there. I didn't make it up.
CB, you need killers on your team. We talked about Aaron Hernandez yesterday. You need killers.
Hernandez.
You need dudes with that killer instinct.
Killer instinct.
I don't see anything wrong with that, CB. Can he play?
Right. And if you really end up killing someone, then that's another story.
Yeah.
And we got to deal with that. But hopefully it's just killer instinct and not killer.
Yeah. You know who had that killer instinct last night? Kashawn Hall. Kevin Overton.
All right, we need to talk about this game because Texas comes out. They're hitting everything in sight. They are bombing away from three. They're hitting it. But my man Tremont Mark was off. And the more he just looked out of it. Like he didn't. Where was that feel? Where's that feel that he had against Georgia where everything was in the flow? He and Swain were like totally in sync. They're playing off of each other. They're working it. And Texas looked like a basketball team. And last night, Tremont Mark, he was okay, but he wasn't hitting. They don't get the ball to Matis. Matis took 3 shots in the game. He made them all. Finished with 12 points. Like, I mean, I get it. Everybody feels like they got to do, it's a little bit of hero ball because they don't really know if the other guys can be trusted. But Dalen Swain, 30 points on 10 of 16 shooting. 7 rebounds, 4 something. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, something. Then you got Cam Heide was bombing away, hit, 5 threes.
Yeah.
And my man Tremont Mark was so off. And then he got into foul trouble. And so he played 7 minutes in the second half. And when he's not on the floor, Zay, you tell me, when he's not on the floor, the offense loses its flow.
Yeah, because you have only one player that can kind of make plays, not only for himself, but for everybody when Tremont Mark goes to the bench, and that's Dalen Swain. Jordan Pope, again, he has his moments. He had a couple of big threes in that first half. He had a bad second half. Jordan Pope had a really bad second half where he turned down shots that if you're Sean Miller, you want him taken. And Sean Miller, he threw his hands up on one of the plays where Jordan Pope had a wide open 3, and for some reason he swung the ball, and then it ended up in Tremont Mark's hands, and he shot the 3, and he went 0 for 6 last night. So that game in itself was very odd. Because
Texas was up 14 in the first half.
Feeling good.
Look good. Look confident. Hitting shots. Like they picked up, carried over from Georgia.
Yep.
And you're like, okay. But it was like Tremont Mark was like a time bomb that was getting ready to explode in the wrong way, and then it exploded. Bad fouls. He looked so disconnected from that game last night. It was really hard to watch because I hate to put it on one player, but he's an important player.
Right.
And when he's that off, where he's not really in the flow of the game and then he's committing stupid fouls, that's a recipe for disaster. Like in the old days, I would joke, man, he looked like he was point shaving, but I know he wasn't point shaving because surely he's not point shaving, right?
I mean, hey, you got to be careful about that nowadays with these guys. They're wilding out here in college basketball. But, so he had an off game for sure.
Right, off
game. Can I put it all on him? Not at all. Because they're still doing dumb shit. They're still fouling on threes. Like Cam Heide, we need stops, bro. We need stops. You're having a good game offensively. Back-to-back possessions, you foul a jump shooter. 1 on a 3. Keyshawn Hall makes all 3. The next on Overton driving to the baseline. Jordan Pope fouled on the three-point shooter. At this point, you don't even need to put your hand. If I'm Sean Miller, I'm like, guys, just run out there and yell or something. Don't even jump. Don't put your hand up or nothing because we're not enough. Yeah, boo. Make him flinch. Jump at him. I don't know. Because trying to contest the shot, they can't do that. They're going to foul. Somebody's going to foul. Jordan Pope, he has the most out of anyone this year by far. And it makes no sense because he has the least chance out of anybody that gets playing time of blocking a three-point shot.
Right.
So
he's 5'10".
Yeah. So, bro, just run out there, keep your hands down and throw your head up. Do something. Do something that's just not fouling. That's dumb. That's it looks ridiculous, but they're that desperate at this point. They are that desperate at this point. And the second half, I'll tell you what really changed the game for me. And I said this on Twitter last night. I thought that tech that Overton had, that was such a big tech for Auburn because it slowed the game down. The crowd got into it. The refs started to get a little antsy where they're like, okay, let's not let this game get out of hand. Mathis and that Jokic dude kept falling on the ground. They kept having to review that, which, when that happens, that takes Mathis out of his game. When they start going to the booth and stuff, now Mathis is in his head because he's thinking, okay, they're out to get me. I need to be smarter. I can't be more as aggressive as I was before because I want to stay in this game. And that's not the way you should be thinking. You should just be playing freely. But
let me ask you something about Mathis, though, because I was like, he had one shot well into the second half. He got two shots like midway through the second half, finished with 3 shots. He was 3 of 3. The guards don't wait for him to post a lot of times, and he works hard to post. And sometimes he has good position. Now, sometimes he doesn't do smart things once he gets the ball in his hands.
4 turnovers last night.
Yeah, and he tries to dribble and do stuff. Like post deep, get 1 or 2 feet in the paint if you can, and then go up with your little, over the shoulder move, hook move, whatever. But they don't wait for him to post. The ball moves and then he's like, what's going on? Like, they don't know how to get the ball inside to him, or he does. What's going on there, Zay? Because how does a 7-footer who had Jovic sitting on the bench for 11 minutes and he's working against a 6'8" guy and he could get behind him, and he did a couple times. Like, Simeon Wiltshire seems to be the one who can get him the ball, but
yeah, he's been awful. They can't even play him right now. They can't even play him right now. And he keeps bringing the Bible. I keep seeing the shots that Texas Twitter always posts of the basketball team. Like, there's been multiple shots where I've seen Simeon Wiltshire. He'll walk in either the arena, Moody Center, where they do those, what's it called? Hallway shots when they're walking in the locker room that become famous because they want to see the fits. The NBA players made that famous, WNBA, etc. And you'll see Simeon Wiltshire, he'll have a Bible in his hand. And then yesterday or the day before, they posted another photo of the team getting on the plane, and Simeon Wiltshire holding the Bible, and he's holding it up like, yo, I'm trying to find Jesus right now because I've been awful, which – hey, good for him. However he could get out of this funk, he needs to do it. But they ran a play for Mathis to start the second half. Great play. And he scores. Sean Miller takes him out 1 minute into the game. He takes him out. And it's like, okay, why is he coming out now? And then they started going on a run. Auburn did. And it's weird. It's like the team, they lose confidence in getting him the ball when he starts turning it over. It's like they know he doesn't have it tonight. Because in the first half, he was turning it over early. So in my mind, if I'm a guard, hey, big man, we're giving you opportunities. If you're turning that rock over, you're a liability. You've been doing that a lot lately. You had 5 turnovers in one of the last games. So it's hard for us to trust you as a big when you catch it, bring it down, they take it, you're stepping out of bounds, you're elbowing people. It's just sometimes he has to go get buckets on his own. Sometimes he has to offensive rebound and get buckets on his own to where he can earn that trust again. But defenses, they're starting to do a really good job with him because they know they've seen enough film. Hey, just be physical with him. He'll get frustrated. You might get elbowed in the face, but that's what we want. When he starts elbowing you in the face and throwing you on the ground and stepping on you and stuff, we got him where we want him because now we're getting him out of his game. Now he's thinking about all the contact instead of just thinking about hooping. And I think Texas knows that too. At least his teammates do. I think they understand that, man, it's real easy to get Mathis out of his game. So they don't go to him. And I think Sean Miller knows that too. Like, okay, Mathis is in one of those modes. We can't give him the ball right now. Those are wasted possessions because they're going to double team him. When he gets angry, he's one of those dudes where he's like, oh, I'm going to show my defender. Let me go get physical with him and try to score. And it's like, no, bro, that's not what you need to do. You got to continue to play smart. What also drives me nuts about him, he'll catch the ball down low. He'll never turn around to face the goal. His back is always to the basket.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's okay, but you got to mix it up, man. If you could turn around and look around to see what else is going on the court, the defense is going to react to that because when your back's towards the basket, it's easy for them to jump on the double team because you can't see them. But if they know that you could see them, they're not going to do the same stuff they've been doing. He can't do that. Like, that's not it. Somebody has to teach him that. Somebody has to teach him to catch it, reverse pivot to where he could look at the goal, look around, see what the defense is doing, and then you could get into your back to the basket game. But he's just so raw. There's just a lot he has to learn. But that technical that Overton had, that changed the game. And they started making runs. And Keyshawn Hall, that dude, him and Dalen Swain, they put on a master.
He was like, who wants to foul me next?
Yeah, he just kept getting to the rack.
And then he fouls on everybody.
Yeah, and again, when you hit 2 back-to-back threes like he did in that second half, nasty step back too. Yeah, Dalen Swain, who's the best defender on the team, on skates and dotted his eye like it was nothing. So when you hit 2 back-to-back threes like that, the lane's going to open up. It has to. It has to. Because Sean Miller, he's going to say, hey, we got to pressure up on him. You got to. And then that's when he started attacking the rim. So tough one for Texas, man. You're up 14. You got to win those games.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's bring in Lance Taylor of Next Round Live, based in Birmingham, Alabama. And of course, lanceslock.com. LT, we were just talking about the Texas Auburn basketball game last night. Texas up 14 early, and then it all came crashing down.
Well, Texas hits 8 threes in the first half. They averaged 7 per game. So, Stephen Pearl said as much after the game. He didn't think that they could keep up that pace analytically. And Auburn just efficiently, what they did offense in the second half. I mean, 4 empty possessions the entire half. 34 points scored in the first half, 54 in the second half. Keyshawn Hall is just, one of the best scoring bigs in college basketball. And, this Auburn team is starting to peak a little bit. Kevin Overton had a hell of a game last night. They've won 4 straight now and 5 out of 6. And I think there were some people that were like, oh, no, I don't know if this job might be too big from Bruce to Steven. And now Steven's settling in a little bit, but big win for Auburn at home. And, I mean, again, I know Sean Miller comes out with more foul talk, but that's got to be frustrating. I mean, my God, Hall got to the line 17 times alone.
39 times Auburn went to the line.
That's crazy.
Last night. That's a season high, even for the virus. We will foul the living shit out of you Longhorns
Yeah, well, I went and I purposely pulled this. There were 4 games in the league last night, and South Carolina scored 20 points and a half. Auburn scored 22 from the line in the second half. Mississippi State scored 21 in the first half last night. Auburn again outscored them just from the free throw line. I mean, you literally cannot win basketball games on the road, fouling that much and allowing your opponent to get the line. And Auburn ultimately missed 10 free throws, but still, when you get there 39 times, hard to lose.
Yeah. You were out in Seattle. Last time we talked to you, you were headed to Seattle. You are a blatant Rams homer, and you went out to see the game, and it was not a great experience. LT, your thoughts?
Well, so the experience was fantastic. I had never been to Seattle. It is a beautiful city. It does have some faults, in my opinion. The experience was really, really good. The crowd, I will say this, it is the loudest environment I've ever been in. And I've been to almost every SEC stadium. And I've been when, Tennessee is really, really good. And when LSU is really, really good. And even when Auburn's really, really good. And those are 3 of the loudest venues you can ever be in. And a lot of that is 100,000 plus fans. You didn't need that. 65,000 strong at Lumen, whether it's the architect or it's just, the fans being that loud, it came together. So the experience was fun. The game I can't get over. I continue to see, how McVay on that 4th and 4 thought he had the right play called, and how Seattle dropped 2 into coverage on Kyron Williams where Stafford was going to go. And they're just talking about all of these sequences that were really, they were baffled on some of Seattle's calls. And I think Seattle, Mike McDonald's done a great job, obviously, with that program, but, they didn't have an answer for Stafford. And for Sam Darnold to go out and play the best game in his career in that situation, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe he did not make one mistake all day long. And then obviously the muff punt from Xavier Smith was the one that really killed the Rams. And, I know there were some questionable things that happened. I don't know if Cooper Kupp survived the ground. Watching from my seat, I was like, there's no way he survived the ground, but they didn't even review it. I mean, I don't know why Sean McVay was talked out of not reviewing that. That was key. When the Rams scored their first 3 of the game in the first quarter, there was a blatant face mask on that 3rd down that would have made 1st and 10 at the 18. And, more than likely, the Rams, one of the best red zone teams in football, they probably get in there. But, there are a lot of things that, when 2 great teams play, it comes down to 1 or 2 plays and happen, and it didn't go the Rams' way. But it's just hard to stomach that, in my opinion, still, I know they lost 2 or 3 to Seattle, and we saw how close those games were. I still think that the better team, and for them to not be playing on Super Bowl Sunday, it's just painful, man. There are 3 losses that hang with me from the Rams. This might be the top of the list now.
What are the other 2?
The other 2 would be, 2001. I never thought Super Bowl 36. I was at that game. The Rams were 13.5-point favorites. It was a great story with Tom Brady. There was no way that New England team was beating the Rams. And Mike Martz was so stubborn on his play calls and continued to think he could beat that cover 2 and didn't utilize Marshall Faulk like he should have. So that one took me a little bit of time to process because I never thought at any point they were losing that game. And then randomly in 2003, a divisional loss, Steve Smith walked it off in overtime, a home loss to the Carolina Panthers where Jeff Wilkins missed a 50-yard field goal, one of those he always makes on the possession before. And, the Panthers ultimately go to their first Super Bowl and they lose a close one to the Patriots. And I think the Rams, even with Mark Bulger, would have beaten that Patriots team. And then this year, just of my fandom watching since 1979, I really believed a lot of times this year, this is the best Rams team I've ever seen. And for them to lose 6 games in the fashion, every one of the losses, just, you can't make it up, just painful. And couple in the fact that Stafford might not be back. This might have been it for him. It's just, it's a lot to take on. I have zero desire to watch the Super Bowl. That might change. And I'm being serious, I'm pouting, but I have zero desire to watch Sam Darnold or Drake May win a championship when it was right there in the hands of Stafford and McVay.
Yeah, I mean, you sound just like me after the Lions lost to the 49ers when they had a 17-point lead, and Brock Purdy is making every play to win that game for the 49ers. And I'm sitting there going, what the actual F is going on out here?
It's
But
just, yeah. I mean, look, that one you'll never get over. It's like, Falcons fans up 28-3 in that Super Bowl where Brady brings them back. And, there's some of those losses. I mean, fortunately, I said it in 21. I just want one more in my lifetime because I know they're so difficult to get. And, right after they get it, I'm like, maybe one more. But this one, I felt it. I really did. I put money on the Rams to win it at, plus 550 2 months ago. I just identified them early on, and not being a homer. The loss to Philadelphia on 2 block kicks within the final 2.5 minutes. The Panthers, had 3 picks and a pick 6 and 2 fourth downs for touchdowns, and in that first loss, Kyron Williams fumbles a ball going into the end zone that would have won it against San Francisco in the first matchup of the year. Obviously that 2-point conversion both ways the first time they played in Seattle this year. I mean, it's mind blowing they didn't have the 1 seed, and then to not get to the Super Bowl. I don't know. Just sucks.
Real quick though, Nick Eamon-Wari for Seattle. Holy bleep.
Yeah.
This guy has been fantastic.
Yeah, it really has. And, I tortured myself Monday because I didn't leave Seattle until Tuesday. So I stayed up there, and, we were driving around the area and going to some outskirts of Seattle because, my girlfriend, one of her favorite places in a little really cool place called Edmonds, Washington. And when we were driving up there, I was listening to Seattle Sports Talk, and they were, specifically talking about the job he did down the stretch and really on Sunday. But yeah, he was fantastic. It's just hard. I can't get Sam Darnold out of my head. Like, I mean, they were incredible on third downs. Like, he just didn't miss. And like, what are the chances on that stage when the Rams seemed to be his kryptonite, although they won that second meeting, like, was getting sacked nonstop, was turning the football over, and just played flawless.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, Lance, because you remember the hype that Sam Darnold got coming out of Southern Cal. Like, if you would have said then, years from now, Sam Darnold will be playing in the Super Bowl, it wouldn't look that crazy. But we know how his whole career has been in the NFL. So to your point, it does.
Yeah, and I threw it out today, Zay. Like, I don't know a bigger redemption story for a quarterback. Like, I really don't. You give me an example, and I know he was playing for the Jets, and Baker Mayfield did come up, but Mayfield hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl. But from where Darnold was, where he was basically flushed, and that label was never going to leave him of seeing ghost, to where he is now, favored to be the Super Bowl MVP, and it's going to be really tough for them to lose that game. Like, they're coming in on the ultimate heater, but I guess anything can happen. But it is, to me, the ultimate redemption story we've ever seen at that position.
Yeah. I mean, don't you think Seattle wins the Super Bowl?
Probably. I mean, I've still got a ticket on the NFC West at plus 140 to win the Super Bowl. So, financially, I guess I'm pulling for them. I like Sam Darnold a lot. Again, I think it's a great story. Chip,
yeah, because you're a USC guy too.
I know. And Ian Fitzsimmons, who's based out of Dallas, does ESPN radio. His brother is the assistant special teams coach for the Seattle Seahawks. So had an opportunity to get with him and Ian on Saturday. Of course, I showed up at the bar they were at wearing all my Rams gear. They didn't love that, but so I am, he's been in the league for 15 years. His first Super Bowl trip. So I'm happy for him. I don't know, man. It's amazing. 4 organizations have never even been to a Super Bowl. The Bills have never won one. The Vikings have never won one. I mean, some great organizations have never hoisted up a Lombardi, and you just don't know how long you got in this. I mean, we were talking about the youngest quarterbacks to ever get to this game, and Drake May now joins Ben Roethlisberger and Dan Marino. Zay, you probably don't remember this, but watching Marino in 1984 get to that game against San Francisco, you just assumed he would be back to 3, 4, 5 of those games, and he never got back there. So, and the Rams are about to reset at quarterback, whether it's, next year or in 2 years, it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, who do you want to take over at quarterback?
I have heard if he does retire this year, they're going to take a look at Tua, which, the problem with Tua is he can't stay healthy. I do think if he could stay healthy in this McVay system, I think he could be pretty good. Doesn't have a lot of arm strength to go, downfield. Not that the Rams did a lot of that this year. If they're going to draft, Mendoza's going to be out of the question because he's going to go 1. I've seen Ty Simpson from Alabama. I don't love that. He just doesn't have a ton of experience. I mean, Ty now has 15, 16 starts, I think, under his belt, 15 starts. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a massive drop off. I mean, I don't know what direction you can go and it not be a massive drop off for the Rams. I like Stetson Bennett. He's their emergency quarterback right now, but I don't know if he's ever going to do anything. I got no idea. And then Garoppolo is one of the highest paid backups, but with Garoppolo, I think they can win 10 or 11 games, get to the playoffs. They're not winning the Super Bowl though.
Yeah. Lance, in your opinion, what will it take for New England to beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl?
I think Drake May, the shoulder is now a question. I think their defense has to continue to play like it's played. And I think Sam Darnold's got to revert back. He's got to make a mistake or two. They've got to win the turnover battle. It's got to be a low-scoring game, which, I don't think Seattle minds playing in a phone booth with the number 1 overall defense. But I think May would have to play mistake-free. He'd have to, get some done with his legs. You saw that against Denver, and I think Darnold's got to make mistakes. But I think it's going to be tough. I think if you simulated this game the way both are playing right now, Seattle wins 7 out of 10.
Yeah. You think it's close?
Yeah, probably. I mean, right now I would say, most people think this game's going to be a blowout. A lot of people thought the Seahawks blow the Rams out. And, for a minute in the second half after the muff punt, I was like, damn, this thing might get out of hand. I do think it'll be close just because I think their defense is good enough to keep them in it. I think they believe. Now, when you look at who they've beaten, I mean, there is really not anything there. I saw a New England fan try to make a point on, well, outside of the NFC West, who has Seattle beaten? And I'm like, literally
everyone
right now. Yeah, but I do think it'll be a tight game. Right now, as we sit, again, I haven't dove into this. I don't even feel like handicapping it right now. Again, I still feel a little jet lag from being in the Pacific Northwest to where I am right now. So hopefully after this weekend, I'll be healed up a little bit.
Well, and I'm stealing Zay's thunder here. He thought Sean Payton should have brought in Sam Ehlinger when the snow was blinding and just run the quarterback. Just bring in the battering ram, Sam, Bam Bam Sam.
I mean, it would have been interesting. I never thought about that. I know with you guys having, a little Texas theme there, it's something that would cross your mind, but it couldn't be any. I felt bad for Jared Stidham. Before the snow really hit, that awful, awful call, and then the refs blowing the whistle where it wasn't advanced, but they ultimately scored anyway. He actually had to put them in a situation to lose that game, and that's exactly what happened. So it's much like going back to that Falcons 28-3 lead on the Patriots. I always heard if the Falcons would have decided just to take a knee for the second half, they would have won the game. You couldn't with Ehlinger coming in and running the football. I don't know how it could have been any worse.
Yeah.
Speaking of USC, Lance, how you like Gary Patterson running the defense for them?
I like it. I mean, you guys saw him as an analyst for the Texas Longhorns. Guy obviously knows defense, 66 years old, but seems like re-energized, coming back, taking those 4 years off. And I didn't realize he did it to get eligible for the Hall of Fame, but I think the defense was getting better under DeAnton Lynn, and understandably, he goes to his alma mater at Penn State, and Lincoln Riley needed to make not a splash hire, but somebody that could continue to make the defense better. And I think they've done that, and I think they've got NIL dialed in, and I think it's a big year for Lincoln Riley. I really do. Mayava coming back at quarterback. The defense getting better and better. I like the hire though. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Gary he is so detail oriented, so demanding.
They
He's
need
gonna
that.
he's gonna toughen those guys up, man. That defense is gonna be physical. And as long as Lincoln lets him do what he needs to do, because I mean,
Well, I think we'll know, Chip, how good of a coach Lincoln is because, great coaches delegate. I mean,
yeah,
Lincoln has obviously got a great offensive mind, but, that defense, it needs to, hey, Gary, not only are you a great defensive mind, you've also been a head coach. You know how to run this side of it. You just take it, run. I'll keep in my lane and I'll coach offense and let you do your thing. And if he does that, I think they should be fine because they're bringing in a hell of a recruiting class and they seem like they've got it dialed going in the right direction. But, the biggest problem for Lincoln Riley has been defense year in, year out.
yeah. I know the Athletic came out with its winners and losers in the portal, and they put Alabama in the loser category because DeBoer brought in a guy from Cal Poly, an offensive lineman, Racine Delgatti from Cal Poly, and cornerback Carmelo O'Neal from Mercer. They're saying either DeBoer's a genius or he's on his way out the door. Your thoughts?
I mean, look, it wasn't a big splash in the portal. They wanted to, back to Cal Poly, they wanted to get healthier offensive line. I mean, they couldn't run the football. They gave up a ton of sacks this year. So look, they went out and got guys, whether or not they're quality and they can play at this level, we shall see. As far as him on the way out, thought it was interesting. I was told today, we went through some article where they graded second year coaches and they gave DeBoer a C plus. And I'm like, how do you give him a C plus? He goes from 9 wins to 11 wins, goes from the last team out in the college football playoff in year one to being technically the 1 seed in the SEC championship game to going to the college football playoff and winning a game on the road. And you give him a C plus. Like, I didn't really understand that grade. I don't know if people are ever going to get on board with DeBoer. The most difficult transition maybe we've ever seen in sports, going from the greatest in Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer. And I think DeBoer's done a really solid job. It looks a long way off from what Alabama's been in the past. But look, as successful as Georgia's been the last couple of years, it doesn't come close to the 22-23 or 21-22 streak when they were 29-1 and won back-to-back national championships. It's just a different world we live in, and I don't know, how dominant this SEC program or that SEC program is going to be. They're in a much better spot than LSU is.
Yeah. How do you expect that quarterback battle to go, Lance? Keelan Russell, Austin Mack?
So I was told this past summer that Keelan, and they had just seen a little bit, like he had so much talent, you weren't going to be able to keep him off the field. I think Ty Simpson was a huge surprise. Obviously played incredible. I don't know if you're going to get as much production as you got from, but like Ty was lights out when you really look at the numbers this year. Now, hopefully it's going to be more of a balanced attack for Alabama where they'll be able to run the football a little bit more. Most people think talent-wise Russell will be the guy, but Austin Mack, I mean, he stayed around for a reason. He's got a really good relationship with offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. And I think Grubb believes he's got an opportunity to be the starting guy. So I wouldn't be shocked either, but your betting favorite is definitely Russell right now.
What's the buzz around Auburn with what Alex Golesh has going on?
Well, I think they're excited about the quarterback. They haven't gotten quarterback right since, I mean, even when Bo Nix was playing, he got benched for TJ Finley. Stidham had an SEC championship game. I mean, Bo's best game as an Auburn Tiger might have been his first game against Oregon where they scored on that late, 30-yard pass or whatever it was. I think they're super excited about Byron Brown. And a lot of people are like, can he play at this level? I mean, watching him at South Florida for the last couple of years, he's really, really good. I mean, a 3,000-yard passer this year, a 1,000-yard rusher. They also brought their center in. Alex Golesh talked about it. We had the sound on the show today about, like, how important it is for him instilling a new offense to have both the center and quarterback come over that know that offense so well. So I think Auburn fans are very optimistic. I mean, Golesh is saying all the right things. He's very detail-oriented, back to what you were talking about with Gary Patterson. And again, it can't get any worse. I mean, Auburn hasn't had a winning season since 2020. So, like, this has been a really, really bad stretch for the Auburn Tigers. So I think they're going to be much improved. How improved, we don't know. But I think Golish a good hire. I think Byron Brown's going to be really good too.
What did you make of Mike Elko's offensive coordinator decision? Colin Klein goes to K-State and he elevates the receivers coach who used to be at Holman Wiggins, from former receivers coach at Bama.
Yeah, again, this is much like if you would have asked me about Kirk Cignetti 3 or 4 years ago. The name is familiar, but again,
He's
one
never called
program, one
plays.
voice. Yeah, very head scratching, but you kind of found a diamond in the rough with Colin Klein. As much as he grew and progressed, and I talked to some people earlier this year before Colin Klein obviously went back to his alma mater, that they were like, if you're looking to identify an offensive coordinator that can relate to the players and he's going to be an absolute stud once he gets a head coaching job, that is Colin Klein. Now we'll see how it works out at Kansas State. I mean, it looks like, what Bill Snyder did there was magic, and it really hasn't been recaptured. I personally thought they were in a pretty good spot with Chris Kleiman. That didn't work out. But I really don't know much about the hire from Elko.
Yeah.
Who wins the SEC this upcoming season, Lance?
Basketball, Florida. And football, I think Texas right now. We'll see. I mean, you got all the parts there. It's going to be interesting because there's going to be so much expectation for Lane Kiffin. Most people are saying this is the year Kalen DeBoer's got to get it done. I don't know what that means. I mean, he's gotten better from year 1 to year 2. Georgia hasn't played for a national championship. This will be going on 4 years. So, there's a lot of pressure spots right now in the SEC. And, I'm sure A&M fans are going to be like, well, we were 11-1. We got to a college football playoff, but we didn't play for an SEC championship. We lost in the first round as a favorite to Miami. So I'm sure they're going to be a hungry fan base. Ole Miss fans, were deflated when Lane leaves, but then Pete takes over, and you saw what they did in the college football playoff. So, again, only one team can win the SEC. I mean, good news is you can have 4 or 5 get to college football playoff. But right now I would say Texas, but I don't feel great about it.
Does anything come of the Dabo Sweeney, just exposing the whole tampering?
Yeah, Pete gonna Pete. I don't think so. I mean, I don't blame him for being that pissed off. You're probably just, yelling off a cliff into the abyss, because I really don't know what's going to be done. I mean, I would be super pissed if I've got a guy locked in and another coach is tampering with him. I mean, I get it. If the guy's a free agent, and look, these things, it's one thing when you stuff a duffel bag a little bit more than somebody else, but when you're specifically texting a guy that is already locked down on your roster, trying to see what is that number to pry you away, I'd be pissed too. But again, I don't think anything comes of this.
Alabama basketball, how have they been looking now? They got the G Leaguer in there. So they lost to Tennessee. They beat up on Missouri. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Bediako, that instant, and I did have Tennessee plus 5.5 on Saturday. I was like, man, this seems like a really good spot for Rick Barnes. And I haven't figured Tennessee out. I think they're good. I mean, a nice win last night in Georgia in overtime. But Bediako, offensively was more involved, was in the starting lineup against Missouri. I mean, Missouri's a tough gauge. Not a good basketball team, very average. They went big because they wanted to deal with those big Missouri guards. Missouri still out-rebounded them. But I think Alabama with Bediako and Aiden Sherrill on that front line, I mean, the backcourt, LeBaron Philon's obviously one of the best scorers, one of the best players in college basketball. Holloway is really good, a guy that can shoot the eyes out. And then Amari Allen is one of these freshmen that is playing above where a lot of people thought he would be right now. So I think Alabama is one of these teams that's going to get better and better. And I think Bediako is going to be a difference maker. I don't think it's going to matter Saturday against Florida. I think that game got a lot more interesting when Tide Golden said, with or without him, we're going to beat them. But Tide Golden's got one of the best front courts in all of basketball. So that is going to be an uphill battle for Alabama. But I do think they're improved with Bediako.
Okay. All right. What's going on over at Lance'sLock.com?
We've got NBA action available tonight. We've got college basketball. It's all available. You can buy it daily, you can buy weekly, monthly. Big Super Bowl coming up with sides, totals, player props. Free play every day. Just go to lanceslock.com.
LT, I'm sorry, man. I know you're jet lagged. You're seeing Sam Darnold ghosts. It's a rough week. I've been there.
Yeah, I know you have. I just, I mean, it's just, replaying a play here or there. I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, the Lions had a ball bounce off of one of their players' helmets into the hands of Brandon Ayuk
No, I mean, no offense, but Detroit is one of those organizations where it seemed too good to be true. I mean, really, when I was watching that NFC Championship game, I was just like, I don't know how they can blow this up 17, but they found a way to do it, much like the Falcons. The Rams were in that spot for a little bit, but we have won two Super Bowls, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to one, though.
Well, we love you, man. Appreciate
Love you guys. Talk soon.
All right.
See you, boys.
Get over to lanceslock.com for the picks. Oh, he's down bad, Zay.
He's down bad, boy.
He's down bad.
It was hard to see that, man. It was tough to see that. Like, I didn't even didn't mean to tell him that might be the last time we talked to him on this show because he was so down bad. I didn't want to make it worse for him, because, man. I'm glad he didn't punch nothing, though.
Right.
Or nobody.
Right.
Can
I tell you what he said about about his experience in Seattle?
Yeah, go ahead. Because I wonder how his girlfriend felt. Because she probably after the game, they were there till Tuesday. So yeah, Seattle, beautiful place. Probably a lot of sightseeing, a lot of coffee drinking, weed smoking, whatever you want to do. And I'm sure he didn't really get a chance to enjoy all that because he probably just kept thinking of Xavier Smith, muffing that beautiful Michael Dixon punt, man. Beautiful.
I said, sorry, dude. How was Seattle? He said, it's super cool, beautiful, and very expensive, strange, and not attractive people.
What? Strange but not attractive people? Really?
Oh, yeah. That's funny. I mean, it is kind of a different vibe up there. The grunge. There's the grunge.
Yeah.
That's real. I mean,
legendary grunge musicians and bands.
Yeah. That's where Nirvana, Kurt Cobain. But it rains there so much. Now he was there, it was beautiful. So he had a rare experience. Like if you go to Seattle and it's clear, you can see Mount Rainier and it's beautiful. You feel like you're in Japan staring at Mount Fuji. Because Mount Rainier is a huge beautiful mountain silhouette. It's all by itself. But people rarely see Mount Rainier when they're in Seattle because it's always cloud cover and raining. And I think that affects how people dress and present themselves,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But Seattle's a cool place to check out. I was lucky enough to go there. My girlfriend in college got a job up there. So I went up there and got to experience it, saw some sunshine, saw some rain, but it's right on the water. It's beautiful. I mean, when Kevin Durant went there with the Supersonics,
he was there for like 10 months.
Yeah, and his mom was living with him. He's like, they were like, Kevin, what do you do after practice? He's like, I just go play video games with my mama.
With my mama?
Yeah.
By the way, bring back the Supersonics, man.
Yeah.
NBA needs the Supersonics. Those were good times. Like Gary Payton, Rain Man, Sean Kemp, Detlef Shrimp. Come on.
Former Maverick.
Yeah, man. Big German.
Had that buzz cut.
Yeah.
That Ivan Drago.
Cut.
Yeah.
That was 6'10". He shoot that thing. He was ahead of his time.
We need Matas to get that Drago cut. He's got the breakup bangs going on.
Yeah, he's got that Backstreet Boys '97 Nick Carter look.
Yeah,
It's for sure European.
Yeah,
it's definitely European.
Let's get him a Drago buzz cut.
Yeah, we gotta work on his face-up game. That's what we gotta work on with him. But
yeah, we gotta work on his face-up game.
Face-up game. That's next. That's next year. We gotta work on that.
We gotta get you down there as a analyst.
Yo, I'll do some analyzing.
Analyst.
You know, I'm there for 2 days out of the week though, Coach. I can't be there every day.
All right, our man John Brown, two-time Mr. Universe, father to 3 5-star wide receiver sons, Equinemius, Osiris, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and did a very excellent job of scouting his lovely wife, the lovely Miriam, the one and only John Brown, CaneProtein.com. How you doing?
What they doing to you boys over there?
I mean, they're running us off.
Man, you got to get your own YouTube station.
I know. Give us some advice.
You can't run yourself off.
We need some John Brown advice. We need some John Brown wisdom, some black coffee.
That's what I would do. I would start my own YouTube channel.
Okay. All right.
And control your own destiny.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
Cutting the budgets and can't be
now
dealing with it.
Look at this ride you're in. It looks like some absolutely styling ride.
No,
is this the Hummer?
No, I'm going to the park with my grandbaby.
Okay.
Take
all
her
right.
to the park. Period.
Okay.
Clear.
Love it.
Look, there she is.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. You're not taking her to Compton and dropping her off, right?
Okay, who we got for the Super Bowl?
Wait, you're not taking her to Compton and dropping her off, right? Uh-oh. No! JB, can you hear us? Oh. Oh, there he is. Okay, there he is.
Okay.
Can you hear us, JB? JB?
We're getting out. We're going down to some hills. So
okay. All right. You're going into the valley? We got some
hills.
Okay. We got some. All right. We got some touch and go cell reception right there in the hills. But who we got in the Super Bowl? I think it's going to be the Seahawks.
What you got? Who you got for the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be the Seahawks. What you think?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks. Yeah, but I can tell you that the Patriots not going to lay down.
No.
And give it to them. So all you need is a couple of bad bounces with the ball, and they can easily lose.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking to a guy who loves the Rams. He couldn't believe how well Sam Darnold played in that.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Yeah, USC guy.
He had a hard time for a while. Yeah, USC guy had a hard time for a while. Now he understands what he needs to do, and he's doing the thing. Proud of him.
Was he there with Amon at all?
No. He left he left. I think it was 2018 with Equinemius class.
Yeah.
I think he went out, but he had a rough time in the beginning.
Yeah.
Everyone discounted him.
He went to the Jets.
Went to the Jets.
Horrible Jets.
The Jets. Oh my God.
You going to the Pro Bowl?
Going to the Pro Bowl, yep.
You sound excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's nice to see guys walk around and they have different games that they participate in. I think they're going to change them around this year. So it's nice to go just to hang out for a couple of days, you know.
Okay, so
to check the weather. Hopefully it's going to be good.
We saw Amon-Ra talking about the new offensive coordinator for the Lions.
Yes.
How you feel about that hire?
I don't know anything about this guy. I'm just hoping they pick the right guy. Like Ahmad said, trust the Dan and the guys over there in the front office that they know what they're doing. So hope they did their due diligence and know that this guy is the guy. That's what I'm hoping. Because I have no clue who he is or if he's good or not. I can't say yay or nay.
Yeah.
But it seems to me I would have been happier if they had a proven guy.
Yeah.
Because they have a proven team. It's not like a startup team. They got some good pieces. So
Right.
I think we'll see. Just wish the best.
Yeah, because Dan he hired a guy and then he took over the play calling.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing in year one. So I'm sure they scrutinized the guy real closely and looked at him real close before they made a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you like to see from the Lions to improve in the offseason, from the draft or free agency, make a trade, whatever?
I like to see him get some goons on defense.
Yeah.
They need some
goons.
Some of the guys who drink 40 ounce.
Out of a brown paper bag.
Yeah, they need some of them guys, man.
I love it.
40-ounce drinkers.
Little Coke 45.
Yeah, some Colt 45 guys. You got some guys, man, some goons. Some guys that can run fast on defense, If the quarterback runs, they can run him down.
Yeah.
I like that.
Texas, they got some guys, man.
Yeah.
Wow. They got some goons over there, and they can run. All of them can run.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think we have one. We're short 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 pieces. 3 or 4 pieces.
Okay. What advice are you giving your granddaughter about life?
I just talked. She's 5 years old. I just asked her about tennis. She didn't respond. So I gotta have a talk with her. What she think about tennis?
Oh yeah.
She's gonna probably be 5'11" or something like that.
Hey,
she's gonna be tall.
Our conversation, JB. One of our listeners, Luis, he got his child into tennis, and now it's going great.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine call me. His daughter is a complete stud, all 3 of them. And they're soccer, basketball and soccer. The last one, I said, dude, man, she's such a talented girl. Put her into tennis. He didn't do it. In college basketball, but I'm like, oh my God, you wasted that. And parenting. And I told him, I gave him, I was standing right in his office. Put her into tennis when she was like 8 years old. What are you doing? Nothing else. She'd have been a champion by now.
Man. Yeah, because there's some scraggly little girls tennis players coming up right now. They can be taken.
Yeah, ain't no real hogs. Hogs,
Right. Got to have some power in there.
Too.
Taking that cane protein.
The cane protein, man. Man, it's terrible. This is your last show, man. That breaks my heart.
We gotta find a way to resurface. We gotta start our own YouTube channel.
Oh man, why not? Right, your own little podcast.
Yeah.
Everyone else is doing it. Why not you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All you need is a cell phone or a computer.
Maybe.
Something like that, little mic.
Yeah. Maybe.
What's that?
We need a laptop or something, something a little, wired into the Ethernet so that we have that good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, what?
How the microphone? That's all you need.
That's it.
It's true.
That's it. What are the boys doing now that it's off season? What are the boys doing now that it's off season?
They just chilling, relaxing.
Does Amin
Pro Bowl, trying to go.
What'd you think of the Bears this year?
Yeah, the bad. Oh man, they did a great job.
And the Lions beat them twice. No.
Going down them hills, man.
Going into the valley. Hey. I'm just glad we got my man John Brown on the
we
show.
got a ball, man. No matter what. I knew this was going to happen, but hey, we take whatever we could get. Always grateful.
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah.
With the daughter, y'all in the front seat. Yeah.
Look at that. The sun's shining bright.
Right?
Let there be
Did a
light.
really good job,
Uh-oh.
Oh, there he is.
didn't they?
Yeah. Ben Johnson, man.
Fantastic.
That hurt. That hurted a little. No. Oh. Well, hey, we love us some John Brown.
Love some John Brown. Love some John Brown, man.
This has been a 10-year friendship.
That's beautiful.
John Brown, dating back to when Equinemius rolled up in here for Notre Dame. Caught 2 touchdowns in that overtime game against Shane Buechele and the 18-wheeler package.
Is my dog Shane Buechele still in the league?
Is he the backup? Where's he at?
He ain't backing up nobody. He's definitely third string.
Oh,
I mean, I'm just guessing.
he got a Super Bowl ring with Kansas City.
Okay, he was on the Bills practice squad.
Okay. Yep. There he is. There we
Yeah,
go.
They gonna cut homie. New coach coming in. They gonna cut him.
Damn.
That sucks. I mean, I hope not. I hope they keep him on. I hope Shane gonna keep finding a job. That championship looks good on the resume. You just gotta be, if you want to be a backup, just be cool. Just be a cool guy. That's really all you gotta do. Like, be one of those dudes that you're not really a threat. If your name is called, you could win a couple of games, but just be cool. Be cool. Teammate. Yeah. Colt McCoy, cool as hell. Did it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was sending those. What's that video? What was that video? That homegirl, the cameos. Remember he did the cameo for Kyler Murray, where they thought it was for a UT fan. Colt thought it was for just a UT fan named Kyle or something like that. But instead, somehow someone made a joke that it was for Kyler Murray, and since he's a Sooner, it was a good joke. I want to say it was on Hard Knocks.
You have it? That's
I'm
funny.
gonna have to look.
I don't think I heard about that.
You never heard about that?
I mean, I didn't really know about Cameo until my wife got me a cameo from one of the stars of Siesta Key. Oh, Kelsey.
Oh, Kelsey. Yeah. Okay, I found it. Yeah, let me go and load this up.
That's funny, man. So someone got Colt to do a cameo for someone named Kyler.
Something like that.
And he didn't know it was for Kyler Murray.
I don't think it was for Kyler, because that would have given it away. But somehow they made it to where it was for Kyler Murray. Colt had no idea. And yeah, the rest was history. Let me find that, man.
Okay.
Because that's good stuff. Which I knew that was tough for Colt dealing with Kyler. That fool. You know, Colt ain't gonna say nothing bad about him.
Right.
Colt, class act.
Colt tried to help him.
He tried to help him. All right, here we go.
But I wanted to reach out and tell you, happy birthday, man. I know you're a quarterback too. Love the Longhorns, and I just want to wish you good luck in training camp. Stay healthy this season. Play great. Be a leader. And most importantly, today, enjoy your birthday, man. That's special. God bless you.
How about that? How about that?
No, you're a fan of the Longhorns. That's my favorite part.
Oh man. Hey, there he is.
There he is.
Sorry,
John
about
Brown,
that. Man.
Cane Protein, getting back with us. Appreciate you. Taking his granddaughter to the park. Not in Compton.
Yes.
Not gonna drop her off. You know. Now you get to spoil. Now you get to spoil, right? Or how do you approach grandchildren, JG? No.
Just like
There you
you're my own.
Okay. So you're toughening her up.
Next year she's gonna start lifting weights with me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Trying to get her mind right.
Oh
Get your mind right.
Yeah. Yeah, ain't no age limit on lifting them weights, right, John?
So what are your plans? What is your plans? What's that?
Ain't no age limit on lifting weights, right?
Well, 5 he said 5 years she can start them sit-ups.
Okay, at 5 years old, she can do push-ups and sit-ups. Man, they got some valleys there in Southern California.
Yo, man, I don't know what he got.
Okay, so at five, she can do
a little bit strong.
Okay, all right. Oh, we got to find out what plan John is on. Who?
It's too late now.
I know.
It's too late.
What service? Like, who's really got the best coverage?
Yeah, AT&T, Verizon, Boost Mobile, T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. What's he got?
You see Billy Bob Thornton. Billy Bob Thornton be out in the desert with T-Mobile.
Right.
That's Landman. So you got to trust Landman, right?
Landman.
Paramount
Plus. Oh, there he is. Maybe can you hear us? There he is. Maybe can you hear us?
I had to do two things at one time here.
I know. I don't want you to endanger yourself. I don't want you to risk injury. Don't do that. Now, JB, what service you got? What phone service you got? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yo, man, I love talking to him, but this is always classic. Always classic, never fails. Never fails, man.
So close. Hey, we got him for a minute. You know?
Got him for a minute. That's all right. Yeah,
got him for a minute.
We've had some good conversations.
Cricket Mobile.
Oh,
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change it. We're gonna have to change it up a little bit. It's all right though. It's all right. He's been a big part of the show these last 3 years. Big part. We love what he's done, love what he's brought to the table. Appreciate him and all our other guests, man. John McClain on tomorrow, Lance Taylor, terrific, Hummer, Hank South, Drew Fabianich. Throw Stretch in there. Stretch was a frequent guest for a while before he got his own gig.
He got his own gig at the exact same time that we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had some great people, man. It's been fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to fire up our own deal.
Yeah.
You know, the internet is a harsh mistress, says Joe K. Yeah. Well, John Brown, some of the best advice, you know, he always talked about parenting your kids. Don't default to lazy or easy. Give them challenges and see if they take to it. And then, feed their hunger. Don't just put an iPad in front of them and turn that into the babysitter. I always like that because, as a single parent for, most of my kids' lives, you gotta stay in there. You gotta stay involved and make it personal and help feed their passions and not just, put them in front of a video game and, go do whatever.
Hey, now video games making some Skrilla nowadays.
I know. That's the
That's
funny
what's
thing.
crazy.
I mean, my son Tiger, when he was like 12, was like, "Dad, you ever heard of PewDiePie?" I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "This guy makes $4 million a year on YouTube. He's a gamer." And I'm like, "What?" And then, there's a bunch of these guys. Hell, Jake Paul was one of them for a minute. But, not so much the gamer, but it's amazing. It's amazing what people's passion for gaming has turned into.
Yeah.
Are you a video game guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's your game?
I only play sports games. So NBA game, 2K, play that. Madden, got to play that. College football. I'm like in my 5th season on my college football game. Sark's won 3 national championships. Yeah. Sark's doing a good job. What's crazy, and I can say this now, because we don't talk about video games much. The second season, because Arch Manning wins a title, it was fun, blah, blah, blah. The second season, transfer portal. I get Avery Johnson, he leaves Kansas State, and I get Marcel Reed, he leaves A&M. Guess who I started? Avery Johnson. Marcel Reed, sorry, bro. I can't start you. I can't do it. I couldn't do it. But Marcel Reed, I'm signed with Texas on Zay Collier's college football 26 video game. And just out of straight spite, even though he's fun as hell to play in the game, I will admit, I played some A&Ms online and got my ass whooped because Marcel Reed ran all over me. And he's way better in the game than he is in real life. We need to make it more realistic next year. Marcel Reed should never be a 90 at anything, but he's fun to play with.
Is Avery Johnson going to deliver a Big 12 title to Colin Klein?
Maybe. That might be the guy.
In year 1?
That might be the guy that they've needed this whole time. Who knows? Is he ever going to get a haircut? That's the next question.
Avery, I didn't know he was a brother.
Neither did I until his dad and his brother were getting their ass whooped.
Dang.
Fighting.
They were fighting each other. That was crazy.
That was first game of the year. Like, damn, that's usually week 7 stuff.
Weren't they over in Ireland or something?
Yeah. Dublin.
I think that's it. Drinking over there in Ireland. Everybody likes to fight over there in Ireland. Yeah. They're all boxers.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, Conor McGregor. Yeah.
You did not watch UFC, right?
No, I did not.
This past weekend, Patty Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. So, funny story about Justin Gaethje. Some woman, attractive woman, posted a picture of Justin Gaethje and said, "Why can't I find a man like this?" And Gaethje responded in the comments. And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "Yeah, what's your deal?" And he's like, "I'm literally the guy in the photo." And she's like, "Oh. Yeah, I guess that didn't hit."
I thought there was more to that. That's it?
Oh, he just suddenly showed up in her comments.
Huh.
Gaethje's tough, though, man. course, he's always poking you in the eyeballs. Got to watch that.
I watch that, but it gets in their mind.
It's in their mind.
Like Jovic, man, low key was an X factor last night against Texas. Auburn's big man. Oh, just being dirty.
Yeah,
flopping. Flopping. Genius. That's what you got to do. That's that Rodman stuff.
That one that got upgraded to a flagrant. I'm like, that was flopping.
But again, the tech, they were like, this crowd, we want to make it out of here alive. Which you got 3 light-skinned refs reffing in one game. That's too many. It's too many. We got to mix it up. We got to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Mix it up. Because those refs, they were awful. You got to mix it up. They were not good. They let the fans affect them. You know, once I saw Overton get in the homeboy's face, I was like, come on, man. You got to toss him. He's in his face, yelling in his face. The score's 31-18 at the time. Throw him out of there. Get him out of there. And then Stephen Pearl going to talk about, oh, yeah, with Kevin Overton, usually when he gets into those situations and gets attacked, the previous Kevin Overton would have gotten in his head and he wouldn't have been able to bounce back like he did last night. Boy, has he grown. To hell with that. Kick his ass out. You can't get in no ref's face like that. Kick his ass out. He gave the Horns 25. He was huge. He was going at Jordan Pope. And I told you, whoever Jordan Pope had to guard, that dude was going to have a solid game. It was like I knew they weren't going to put him on Pettiford. I knew they weren't going to put him on Hall. So the other option is Overton, and he gives you 25. 25. And he knew. He was like, oh, I got Pope on me, number 0. Bet. I'm about to go at this guy all game. It's tough. They better beat the Sooners on Saturday. That's a must win.
Oh, must.
That's a must win. You can't lose that game.
Did you ever see School Days by Spike Lee?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
Classic, yeah. That was one of the OG Spike Lee movies. I was like one of the favorites.
Every time you start talking about light-skinned and
Spikes.
That it takes me to School Days.
Yeah, man. Spike got some films. Do the Right Thing. He's got game.
Jungle Fever.
Come on,
man.
Malcolm X. Too long of a movie, but still good. Way too long a movie.
You're like my wife. I'm like, hey, you want to watch this movie? She's like, how long is it? I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
She's like, it's over 2 hours. I'm out.
That's tough. That attention span. It ain't the same like it used to be. By the way, Sean Miller was wilding again in the presser. You know, he got to throw a cuss word in there somehow when he talks about the fouling. Wasn't as bad as after the Kentucky game, but he was still on his Sean Miller stuff. Check it out.
You know, I think Auburn has an excellent basketball team. I thought we saw it on full display in the second half of tonight's game. We knew coming in that they were a real problem in terms of free throw attempts, getting to the foul line, their ability to attack the rim, get second shots, and do it in a variety of ways is really impressive. And we knew we had our hands full. We had no solution man-to-man, guarding individually, guarding as a team. We just really could not stop them in the second half. There's not a lot of games where they shot, 20, they were 22 for 28 from the free throw line in the second half. It's almost impossible to do in a college game, but I give them a lot of credit. They put our guys in a position to foul, and we fouled the shit out of them.
You knew that was coming too, because
We fouled the shit out of them.
Once they went to the line for 39 times. 39.
They ain't got no vaccine for that virus, man.
The virus is getting worse.
That virus is not getting better.
It's getting worse.
Like, can we get something, some Tylenol?
We have a virus called fouling.
Can we get some ginger ale, Sprite?
You still got the original?
I'm sure I can find it.
That's the best, man.
Yeah.
That's the absolute best. We have a virus called fouling. We will foul a 2-point shot. We will foul, we'll reach. You got it?
It's not loaded up yet.
Okay. I mean, he set it up like a comedy routine. We will foul the living shit out of you.
Yeah. I hate to see where Simeon Wilcher is right now, man. That's been a big disappointment lately. They need him. They just need, especially with Mark in the game he had.
This makes me wonder, does Sean Miller have the right coaching staff around him? Like, who's getting these points across in practice? Usually you got one assistant that's in charge of offense, one assistant in charge of defense. And that's like one thing I say about Chris Beard. He had really good assistant coaches. And like my man Bob Donewald, that dude who coached the Chinese national team.
Donewald's good.
Donewald is legit.
Yeah.
And you could see his impact.
There was a play yesterday. It was when Keyshawn Hall, he got to the line. Dalen Swain, he jumped over on the screen. Like, he forced Keyshawn Hall to go right, which that's what you're supposed to do. He's left-handed. So he forced him to go right, but Keyshawn Hall drove in between Swain and Mathis, and he like did the Dwayne Wade over the head Euro, and he got fouled. And then a timeout happened. Uric Malagy went right up to Dalen Swain, and ESPN, they got it. And he was like kind of like trying to grab Dalen Swain to be like, dude, come on. Like, we understand your offense is cooking right now, but we need you defensively. And Dalen Swain, you could tell he was very frustrated because when you're having one of those games offensively and you're up by 14, you can kind of feel alone. Like, okay, I'm getting 30 here. Help, guys. Like, I'm doing my best. My offense, I'm giving you everything. And now I got to guard the best player defensively, and he's now killing. I need help. And that's
probably what bothered me the most about Tremont Mark last night. Okay, you're going to have an off night, but he didn't get to the free throw line. Like, what does Kevin Durant say? When my shot's off, I got to get to the free throw line. So I'm going to become more aggressive. I'm going to drive. I'm going to put fouls on people. He didn't do that. He didn't go to the free throw line once. And then he's fouling all over the place, making bad fouls. And he's too experienced. He's played for Kelvin Sampson. He's played for
Eric Musselman.
He's a guy who's been around. He's got to be smarter than that. He's got to be better than that. He's coming off one of his best games against Georgia, and then he follows it up with this.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen, but you got to affect the game in other ways. You got to give me something. You got to give me some great defense. You got to give me some free throws. You got to go give me some rebounds. And he just looked like the game was overwhelming him.
Yeah.
That can't happen. You're a senior, and we don't need to talk about the NIL money he's getting. Give us a little something.
Yeah. I want to say Sean Miller's right-hand man is Adam Cohen. That seems right, because I see Adam Cohen, he stands up more than anybody when it comes to, from what I've seen. I don't know that for sure, but he looks like that's the next guy. Like, let's say if somehow, God forbid, knock on wood, if Sean Miller ever had to take a leave of absence, I think Adam Cohen would be the head coach right after that. So I don't really know. I mean, again, Uric Malagy, he's been there. He was there with Chris Beard, and he's back. He's good, especially when it comes to recruiting. Ryan Anderson, big fella. He was there at Xavier with him.
Israel's asking, did Texas make the right hire with Coach Miller? The guy I thought they should have, TJ Otzelberger.
Yeah.
Like, TJ Otzelberger.
Yeah.
To me, he gets the most out of his players and they play hard for him. And he does a good job of evaluating talent. He's got good length in the front court and back court. And
Yeah.
But
I'm still vouching for Royal Ivy.
yeah, I want to see Roy. I mean, what can Roy do?
Like, the whole thing was, we don't know if he could be a head coach. This dude literally had South Sudan, like barely down against LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Joel Embiid. Do we not understand that 2024 Olympic team and how good they were? You were in the game. You had them, you lost by 3 points. You're back with South Sudan. None of them brothers are in the league.
No, the hard part, Zay, is that Texas will eat you alive. Now, I get Royal Ivy is. I love Royal. I covered him. I wrote
the program. He was there for the success.
Oh yeah. But if you at a place like Texas where the demands are so high, and I think Roy could be the exception. I think Roy could be. He knows exactly who he is, and he knows exactly how he wants to get it done. So that's one guy I would take a chance on, because typically you want someone who's shown they can build a program not only once, but twice, that they've shown they can go to a place, turn it around, move on, go to a place, turn it around. Okay. Because Texas, it's so high profile, it's so demanding. You've got to have someone who knows exactly how they're going to do it. Now, Oklahoma, they've hired coordinators for football, and it ended, Switzer was a coordinator, Bob Stoops was a coordinator, Lincoln Riley was a coordinator, and they won a ton of championships. So it can work both ways, and we'll see.
Yeah. So it's
early.
Yeah, it's early. Year one, it's
Year
tough.
one.
Year one. There's so much change. He missed the whole Nick Cody thing I talked about earlier this week. Declan DeRue. They could have used those guys last night. Could have used them again last night. Like you mentioned it yesterday. Somebody to take Dalen Swain off Kashawn Hall. Just for a little bit.
Right.
Just for a little bit. You're telling me Nick Cody and Declan DeRue can't play defense for 6 minutes combined?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then again, Simeon Wilcher, I'm still confused on why he's digressed so much. Why just beginning of the season, he showed you a lot of upside. And now he only played 8 minutes last night. And the worst play of all, Tremont Mark and Simeon Wilcher, the worst play I saw last night. They're throwing the ball in. Tremont Mark's taking the ball out. I don't know what Simeon Wilcher was looking at. He's looking at the fans or something. Tremont Mark, get his attention before you throw it. The ball's already in the air. It hits the ground. Simeon Wilcher still doesn't know what's going on. It goes straight to an Auburn player. Without any pressure, without any defense, they just gave them the ball. And that was completely just the vibe of that game and just how it continued to go. And you're like, man, fellas, y'all are killing yourselves with these turnovers in the first half. In the second half, it was the fouls. And, ball game right there.
Ball game.
Ball game.
All right, let's get a couple mentions. Let's get to the chip shot. How about some better health in 2026? Let's do it the Humann way. Y'all know that I'm a collector of supplements, and I have found the supplement that has made me feel the best, and that is Humann. They're, high-level scientific formulas developed at the University of Texas Health Science Center. I'm going to show you 3 supplements that you need to take in conjunction with each other, starting with the Metabolic Health Daily. We're talking about healthy blood sugar, weight management, helping to make sure that you're not headed towards adult onset diabetes. That's important because, as we get older, we don't want to have our body change and suddenly we're in that kind of danger. Cholesterol Health Daily. This is accentuating the healthy cholesterol that we need in our body. Not, take the fish pills to get rid of the bad cholesterol. That's accentuating the good cholesterol. And then the cardiovascular health daily, which is helping with healthy blood flow, blood pressure. Look, you take those three and you take the Super Beats Heart Chews, the beet-based formula for these Super Beats Heart Chews, #1 recommended by cardiologists, going to help you support healthy blood pressure 2 times more effectively than just diet and exercise. And then the turmeric chews, if you're working out, or even if you just have inflammation, these turmeric chews are going to help you minimize that inflammation. Where's the pain come from? Inflammation. These turmeric chews every day, 1 a day. It's beautiful. You're going to feel better. You're going to get that brain fog out of there. You're going to be fired up and ready to go. Just go to humann.com/TSU and use the promo code TSU. You get 20% off your first order. Load up, because there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, but you're not going to want to use that. You're just going to want to have a lot of really good human supplements and getting that 20% off discount. And hey, Cover 3, love Cover 3. Doug Young, Matt Dotson, 2 kids growing up in Austin, had a dream of opening a restaurant with high-end food, but not the high-end prices. And they have done it. Cover 3 Anderson, Cover 3 Round Rock. Great food, great service. You got all-night happy hour on Mondays. You got brunch on the weekends. The breakfast quesadilla. You got to have that. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. It's fantastic. The muffin tops, not the whole muffin, just the best part, the top. It's fantastic. The do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar. You like shrimp, bacon in your Bloody Mary, they got it. All of it. Don't forget about the Sean Adams Prime Rib Sandwich. Our man, Sean Adams. I love that Cover 3 pays tribute to our man, Sean. And hey, when you're ready for the big screen of your dreams, only one number to call in Austin, Texas. That is Audio-Visual Consultations. Our man, Tom McKay, he's been putting big screen TVs, surround sound in your favorite restaurants in Austin for 30 years. He can do it for you too. And he's going to bring you the best price. So you don't need to be lugging TVs around town and punching holes in your drywall. Just call 255-8678 and let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. It's so simple. They're going to hang that big screen like a masterpiece in a museum. You're going to love it. And he's the best. He's put he's put big screens in 3 different houses for me, my 30 years in Austin. He's the best. 255-8678. Appreciate you, Tom. And hey, the Sleep Cycle Center, guys, if you're snoring, if you've heard me talk about this, I need you to pay attention, because we are going off the air after tomorrow's show, and you need to take advantage of this opportunity if you're snoring, because it could be the sign of a serious health issue called sleep apnea, which is a lack of oxygen while you sleep. It can kill you. Dr. Chad Denman, one of the foremost experts in treating sleep apnea, is here in Austin, the Sleep Cycle Center, locations in Lakeway and the Arboretum. And you go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell him Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. He's going to take $100 off your sleep study, practically give it away, and you're going to get the answers you need. He's got the best technology to detect sleep apnea, your level of it, and he's got the best treatment options, from an oral appliance like I have, a mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open so that I get that oxygen while I'm sleeping. My wife can tell the difference when I don't have my mouth guard in, and do it for you because it's your health, but do it for the person sleeping next to you too. SleepCycleCenters.com. Tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. All right, Zay. I've been kind of going big picture this week, getting a little nostalgic. And yesterday I talked about not giving up on your dreams. Let's keep learning stuff. Let's keep being curious. Let's keep learning, whether it's how to be better in our own existence, whether it's, reading or educating ourselves, but let's stay curious and let's keep learning, and let's see if we can look out for each other a little bit better, because it just seems like today more than ever, there are things out there trying to divide us. And, you think back to 9/11 when we all came together as a country. And, I remember saying at that time, I don't know if we'll ever be this unified as a country again. And it's tragic that it took airplanes flying into the World Trade Center. But I think back to then and I look at now and I just say, hey, let's listen. Let's not try to divide lines. Let's put each other in each other's shoes. But don't be so quick to just, grab onto an argument that's going to push people away. Let's listen. Let's be curious. Let's try to figure some stuff out together, because that's where we need to be.
Yeah.
That's where we need to be. We're too great of a country. We have too much opportunity, and we have, great people who are, we got to get the greatness out of everybody. So let's stay curious. Let's listen more. What's that line in Hamilton? Talk less, smile more, and listen. But let's look out for each other.
Yeah.
It's a tough time right now, and there's some tough stuff going on in our country. And let's stay connected. Let's stay together. Let's not go into a bunker or just, give up. Don't do that, because better days are coming. I promise you that. Better days are coming.
No, well said. Like, again, obviously TSU coming to an end, that's sad and all, but there's so much more negativity going on to where I'm blessed, man. I'm absolutely blessed with the life that I have. So it's hard for me to be so sad, even though something's coming to an end, like Chip and Zay, Texas Sports Unfiltered. Nah, man, my life is still amazing, and there's a lot of people that can't say the same. So what you just said, my brother, people need to hear that. That's facts, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure a lot of others do too.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Let's get to the right call.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Before that, though, guys, shout out to the best car dealership in the biz, Covert Bee Cave. They helped my wife out and I, and hey, it couldn't have been a smoother process getting our Buick Encore GX. And you could be like Covert Bee Cave too. You don't want to take my word for how great Covert Bee Cave is. Listen to these beautiful folks at Covert Bee Cave.
You see Covert everywhere. It's that personal level of just feeling like it's a personal family interaction.
The customer service, it's impeccable. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced buying a car.
Over the 30 years that I've been buying cars from them, I feel like I know them and they know me.
Covert's done an amazing job of making me feel valued. If you purchase a vehicle and you want to feel like you're part of a family, join the Covert family.
Come and experience it for yourself.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Chip. So this is interesting. So last night, Lakers played the Cavs, and it's starting to seem more and more like this could be LeBron James' last season. Year 23. This might
Year 23.
Year 23. He wasn't
82 games.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't good yesterday. They got blown out. Luka got hurt too. It wasn't good. But they did a tribute for LeBron, a little video. He touched him. He teared up. But that wasn't the craziest thing that happened. So Texas fans, I'm sure they remember Jalen Tyson. Remember Jalen Tyson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He left here and he went to Tech.
Exactly. Came in with Chris Beard. Once Chris Beard got the boot, he said, okay, no need for me to be here. Let me go to Tech. Did decent at Tech, but when he went to Cal, that's when he really blew up. And he became a first-round pick. Last year, had an up and down rookie year, but this season in year 2, he's a part of the reason why the Cavaliers have a lot of success. Like, he could shoot the three. He's a good defender, way more athletic than you give him credit for. He's turned out to be a really, really good player, which was Chris Beard's, like, that was what he expected from him. Like, he was a developmental player, and Chris Beard expected him in a few years to be what he is now. Seems like a decade-long NBA player. So after, this was mad petty, after the game, Donovan Mitchell is getting interviewed. Jalen Tyson's right there. Jalen Tyson, with LeBron being in the building, thought it was okay to say, this is Donovan Mitchell's city. That completely erupted Twitter. Kyrie Irving said on his Twitter, be humble, or whose city? Depends on the timeline. But respect the ones who built it first. Tristan Thompson said, man, please win first. J.R. Smith said, be humble, kid. All 3 of those players, LeBron James teammates on that 2016 team that won it all. Afterwards, after that all happened, Jalen Tyson in his presser was very apologetic and said, I'm sorry if I'm paraphrasing here, I'm sorry if I have offended anyone with what I said. That was not my intention. I did not mean to ruffle any feathers. Because Jalen Tyson, you know you wrong, bruh. You know you wrong. I get what you're trying to do. You're a second-year player. Donovan Mitchell's the man. He's by far the best player on the Cavs. But let's have some respect, buddy. Let's have some respect, especially with LeBron being there. If they didn't play the Lakers, I don't think it would have been a big deal. But to say that with LeBron still in the arena, very disrespectful. Because that's the only success that Cleveland's ever had, the Cavaliers. So I'm glad that he realized and probably was forced to apologize. But come on, man. There's a reason why people got upset. You respect your elders. That dude, it's Jordan and Bron, and then everybody else, in my opinion. Everybody else. So be respectful, Jalen Tyson.
What do you make of these rumors that LeBron might go back to Cleveland for 1 year?
If I'm Cleveland, I'd make a move. Why not? Why not? Like, he still has a lot of game left. He could still play. And the whole point of people being concerned about him this year, like Austin Reeves being out, that's the reason why the Lakers have been up and down as of late. People want to blame JJ Redick. People want to blame Bron. People want to blame Luka and his defense. We always known Luka was a horrible defender. That's not shocking. Austin Reeves being hurt for as long as he's been hurt, that's been the issue. Austin Reeves, before he got injured, was on to a all-star level season.
That's
and
amazing.
LeBron was playing great basketball alongside Austin Reeves and Luka. Playing off ball, standing in the corner, cutting at the right time, just being a smart basketball player because he's LeBron James. He might be the smartest player to ever touch Spalding. So if somehow this whole Genie Bus thing, all the craziness has gone on with LA, seeing the writing on the wall that they're not really a contender for a championship, maybe I could go to the East where it's a little bit more wide open and you have an opportunity to win one. I'd look into it if I'm Bron. I'd look into it. I mean, he's already got a house there. It's not like he's much of an adjustment. Like, he's from Akron, Northeast Ohio. I think he could come in and help. The problem is he's going to take the attention away from everybody else, no matter what. So Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, if that were to happen, how would those guys respond to that?
Right.
They should respond with open arms.
Right, because LeBron's always shown he can be a facilitator. He can elevate everyone around him. I don't know in year 24 what that looks like, but I mean, he can do it.
He can do it. He's averaging like 22 this year, which is a down year for him. It's nuts. Right. Year 23, you're averaging 22 points a game. It's a down year. All right.
40 plus.
Okay, cool.
Like I look at Austin Reeves. He's listed at 6'5". And I look at Camden Heide. And I'm like, what is going on with Camden Heide? Like he can get up, but he's got no quickness. He's got no suddenness.
No.
His feet.
Yo, man, he tried to make a move where he tried to drive yesterday and they stopped him and he put it between his legs. And I was like, that looks so unnatural.
It's weird.
He's a weird player. He shot the ball well yesterday. I give it to him. He shot the ball well, but
yeah, he got him off to a good start.
Yeah, but again, that's kind of one of those things. Okay, if Cam Heide shoots the ball well,
that made up
that. Yeah, like
that made up for Tremont Mark not shooting it well, but then defensively.
Yeah, it does. But if I'm Pearl, I'm like, okay, that means Mark's not touching it. So I'm good with that. Like if Heidi's taking shots away from Mark, I don't want Heide to drop 5 threes on us. But also, I know that's not how Texas plays when they're successful.
But Matis has got to have 8 shots a game.
Yeah.
I mean, he works hard in the low post. You know, he just needs to clean up his low post game once he gets the ball. Like you said, turn around, square up, keep that ball high, look around, see what's there. Hell, if it's not, just shoot it from up there, you know?
Yeah, he don't got that.
You got to get that bank shot like Tim Duncan. I mean, Duncan would turn around, square up, he'd hold the ball up there, and then he'd just flip his wrist and hit that little bank shot.
Timmy would catch it in the post, turn around. He'd have the ball like on the ground, like jabbing. He'll have the ball on the ground, like, and he'll have his like arms like straight out like this. And then he'll go into his shot right off the glass. If you bit, he'd drive it. Yeah, his form, it was
wild. It was wild.
He was so fluid. He was so fluid in the post. Like that's what you show every post player. Tim Duncan film. Easy, by far, because it was kind of unorthodox too. Like when he would drive left toward the middle and he would give you that little shoulder and he'd like fade away with the right and have that touch and get the foul. Oh, Timmy had everything. Timmy had everything, man. Everything. So, yeah, you want to teach that. And it's weird because Mathis being from Lithuania, you would think he would have watched more Sabonis. Both of them. Arvydas and DeMattis. Like, those guys, their post game, they shoot a lot of jumpers, but they also can do stuff in the paint. So he's still so young. At FAU, he didn't have to do all that stuff because the competition wasn't at the level that you're seeing in the SEC. It's a big eye-opening situation for him.
Well, and that's why I'm like, who's working with the big guys? Like who's like the assistant coaches? Because we should see Matis developing. We should see him have an over-the-shoulder move and then a counter move or face up to the basket. Stop bringing the ball down. Like that stuff should be improving as we go, and it's not. Now, he could be hard-headed. He could be hard to get through to, and it may just take time. You know, it sure looks like Sean Miller's popping Tylenol to deal with this team, but maybe he's popping more than that. I don't know, but
he's so frustrated, man.
Ay.
So frustrated. By the way, have you seen Robert Sala's family?
No, you got a pick?
Yes.
They're all beautiful. Oh, it's huge.
This big ass family. Like, damn. Like a newborn too?
Wow.
Like, has his wife had any rest ever?
Wow.
8?
Is that the wife in the middle?
Yes.
She looks like she's about 18. What is he going for, Phillip Rivers?
I mean, something like that.
2, 4, 6, 8.
8. Yeah, and they all look like him too. They all them. He can't even deny nothing. They all look like him. But I don't know. Get them tubes top something. Vasectomy something.
Man, those kids all better get scholarships. That college bill is gonna be woo.
Yeah. I mean, he keeps getting these head coaching jobs. They'll be all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he fine.
All right, let's bring an open gym.
Let's open up the gym, man. Bring in Patrick
What
and
up?
Matt.
What's going on? Yeah, Robert Saleh got married in 2007, so that's 8 kids in 19 years.
Hell no.
Every other year.
Hell
no. That's constant. That is.
I'm good, bro.
I'm good.
Yeah. I'm good with 0. At 0, I am completely fine.
Yep. I'm living through my nieces. That's it.
I've got as many nieces and nephews as Robert Saleh has kids.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate everybody.
Appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow.
Welcome in to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open 512-222-9328. And, of course, over there on the chat on Facebook, Twitch, X, and YouTube. We appreciate you hanging out with us. As we start to get to the end of the run here on a Thursday edition. A couple more shows for you. Matt and I have senioritis, though, so we'll see how much we stay on the rails on a Thursday edition of the show. It's getting down there. Yeah, CB, I saw that. We have a Longhorn and a Spur in the slam dunk contest this year, Matt.
That who's the Longhorn and who's the Spur? I haven't paid attention.
Jackson Hayes, former Longhorn, is going to be in the slam dunk contest, and then Carter Bryant, the rookie for Arizona, is going to be in the slam dunk contest. And an interesting part of the Carter Bryant, the Spurs fans trying to figure out right now, is so we know that Wimby and Keldon Johnson shaved their heads. They both shaved their heads bald, and so there was like the ball club. Then they were trying to get Carter Bryant to do it, and he was like, "No, dude, not cutting my hair off." And then they told him if he missed 3 more dunks, I think it is, in games, that they were going to shave he was gonna have to shave his head anyway. Because he kept missing easy dunks. So they're saying that he missed 3 more, they were gonna make him shave, and now everyone's like, well, do slam dunk contest miss count? Are these also counting into the equation? But I have a feeling he will not be going on national television on All-Star Saturday night with a shaved head. Something tells me he's going to fight against that one. If you're a young,
who else is in it?
Those are the only 2 names I've seen so far. They were just announced earlier today.
Here's the long-running issue with the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
It's ass because they don't have any contestants anybody cares about. Because number one, LeBron was too much of a coward to ever do it, according to, I mean, I wouldn't do it if I was him because I'm LeBron James and I don't need to. But a lot of people think he's a coward because he didn't do it, aka Skip Bayless. I don't know. Like I've just never really gotten into it ever since they stopped having the big names. I think probably Vince Carter or Blake Griffin was the last good one, in my opinion.
No, Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine ones were awesome.
I don't even remember those. I probably didn't watch them.
Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, they had 2 years that they were amazing. But yeah, now that it's been Mac McClung the last couple of years, who's been the only one who's really been doing it, and Mac McClung is not going to be in this year's. Which
Did they just
I'll
bring
always
him up from the G League to
Yes.
do the dunk contest and then send him back down?
the one I remember about Mac McClung was when he was playing for Tech and beat us, and it was the COVID year. So we were all in the Irwin Center, but like no one else is in there. And so we're up in a suite and it's all like separated. And so they have to do they do the interview afterwards, and they do the interview with him after the game and he's talking. And then I just remember he did like the Home Alone run back to the locker room after he did it. And it was the most offensive thing after we had just lost a close game that he did like the full arms windmilling run to go back to the locker room. And I was like, oh my God. So what I always remember about him.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. And yeah, CB, I agree. That Blake Griffin dunk is the most overrated. I know exactly which one you're talking about. The most overrated dunk ever. He didn't actually dunk it. He just threw it in the basket. That's not a dunk.
No, I mean, look, the reality of it is it's fine. Like what was annoying, what's annoying is them trying to think they have a way to make it more entertaining, which is just awful, which is they had like Kevin Hart last year just talking over the game and talking over it, and everyone's like, dude, shut up. And like, you know, if they I mean, hopefully we won't have Inside the NBA there, because like if you actually have the people who are pro NBA and all, you know, if you watch Amazon Prime or NBC or any of that stuff now, people are like, oh, this coverage is nice because I'm not turning on the TV and then they're literally, the TV comes in and goes, wow, you're a real fucking idiot for watching this, aren't you? Man, why are you watching this game? The NBA is terrible. I don't know why anybody would watch the NBA. The NBA is the dumbest and worst product ever. And that's all they do. The entire show is tell you how much you suck for liking the product. And then now they're like, well, they're kind of phasing us out because, and I'm like, yeah, because you guys are jerks who cannot just enjoy basketball. You have to just come out and always find the worst part about it instead of the good part. And everyone else is finding the good parts now. And it's just so much more, it's just more relieving to watch now because they're actually talking and breaking things down as opposed to just them hating it. And the TNT coverage of All-Star Weekend was just a bunch of people saying about how much it sucked all weekend. This is the worst. This is the worst. Like, why would I watch it if all I'm going to get told is I'm an idiot for watching it? So hopefully that will not be the case anymore. I don't mind it. It is what it is. Like All-Star games and all that stuff, you know, they jumped the shark years ago. They're not really for real hardcore sports fans. They're for casual fans who just want to come in and watch, you know, the best players in one place. And that's what they are now. It's what they are in the NFL. It's what they are in MLB. It's what they are. And CB, I think the NBA got ruined when Shaq came on. Like, seriously, I've hated it since Shaq came on. I think he's the absolute worst. He is a horrible commentator. He does not add anything of value. He's a joke. Like, all he's trying to do is get Charles Barkley to say something funny, which you're like, well, you could do that without Shaq. So I can't, like, it's been downhill once they got into the world of we're the victims and we have to just, all we talk about all day is how bad basketball is. Like, this isn't, you're not breaking anything down. You're not making any real points. None of them watch basketball. They do the points where they're like, what do you think about these players? And none of them can name anyone who's not a star basketball player because they only watch the games they're watching.
And Shaq just sits there and says how everybody else would have been terrible during his era.
Yeah. No, it's
like, they weren't as big and tough as like, shut up.
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't care, Shaq.
We knew it was going to be worse because the ESPN format of how they do it is like not good. It's all about commercial breaks and it's not about like actually having real conversation. So it was going to be worse than it was anyway. But I think the show's been going downhill for a while anyway. Ernie Johnson's the best. Kenny's still good. And Charles can be good when he's not around Shaq. But when he's around Shaq, it's just awful. Like he just drags Charles into, man, they can't play basketball. When I would play basketball, I would go into the basket and I'd dunk the ball 48 times a game. You're like, okay, cool. It's fun.
Yeah, you know what's actually a good show? least the couple of times that I've seen it. The one with Dirk and Steve Nash. That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, Dirk and Steve Nash are also I think that's Prime now. Prime does a really good job with it. And NBC does an okay job. NBC's doing all right now. It's because they're literally trying the opposite way. So it's frustrating. You can tell as a basketball fan to be told that basketball is terrible every day. I'm like, dude, there's enough people that don't like what the game is today because they're just not basketball fans. That's fine. I get, look, believe me, everyone would hate the way basketball used to get played if you watched it as much as they did. A bunch of games ending at 83-78.
Illegal defense every 5 minutes.
And just like, oh, look, here's Karl Malone again. Look, it's another pick and roll with John Stockton and Karl Malone. Nobody would enjoy that either. So I get it. If you like basketball, you'll enjoy it. It's not quite the same as football where it's like you can just watch it and kind of just enjoy football and the way football is.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I still like the NBA. It's miles better than college basketball. It's miles better that like pro sports are just better than college sports in the most thing of like the game itself playing. But I find the NBA extremely watchable. I enjoy watching it. Going to games is so much fun to watch how well these guys play. I think people just hate it because people hate the players. Because again, every ex-player will come out and say these players suck, and then the NBA only really tries to get the urban young audience involved. So everything they put out is like, look at how well they dress. And you're like, nobody cares about that. Like no adult male is like, oh man, I can't wait to see their walk-ups. So it's like, it's like they just market to the wrong things of what we care, but who cares? Like, I don't really care about most of the outside of it. I care about watching the games. We'll get into Texas and Auburn. And I mean, that wasn't tons of fun to watch last night. A lot of free throws, a lot of going in. And yeah, I don't like SGA and I don't really watch a lot of Oklahoma City. There's a lot of fun basketball out there. I know that it doesn't seem like there is, but there is a lot of fun basketball out there. But I mean, I can't go off and go, the NBA is unwatchable, but we'll also watch swimming and diving because it's Texas. And you're like, look, I'll watch swimming and diving too, but it's not more fun to watch than basketball. It's just not for me. Someone who played basketball and has covered basketball for 20 years. I love the game. So there's a lot more nuance to it. I get if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. No one's making you watch it, but to pretend that it's not any good when it's still the number 2 sport in America is somewhat silly. There's still plenty of people watching it. I did want to get into, we're going to get into a couple different things in Texas football today, Matt. I was listening to a conversation earlier today about, and we'll get into the hires that Sark made today as well. I don't know what the Aggies are thinking about it, CB, so you'd have to show me what the Aggies are saying about it, but I'm sure he was a terrible person because he was there during Jimbo, so they can't stand him, and it'll be awesome. But also there's a player on campus right now that Texas has, a transfer player that Texas has on campus right now as well. But I did hear this conversation today that apparently the league's officials are getting together. So like all the conference officials are starting to get together this week, and they're going to discuss possible rule changes. And one of the things that they're looking at, Matt, is targeting and making a change to targeting, because it's starting to get to where now everybody goes, you've cleaned up the game a lot. You've gotten rid of a lot of the really malicious hits that were there. And the players that were still going really hard and headhunting, you've kind of gotten rid of a ton of that. We don't see as much of it. Now, we'll see targetings, but they're usually, most targetings you see now are a player kind of moving last minute and a guy in the wrong space. And they're tackling with their face up and the face mask up and still just having helmet-to-helmet contact. They're not necessarily lowering their dome or anything else, and they're just still getting targeting. The talk, though, is they may try to make it like a flagrant foul and put different levels of targeting out now, which would really help in targeting if you say that's still a 15-yard penalty, but the player's not ejected. And if he does it again, he's going to get ejected. But it's a 15-yard penalty for targeting, but we're not throwing the player out of the game. If it's a second half of a game, he's not out the first half of the next one. You can make all of those. So it's a rule that I think you can look at and say it makes it easier to call the 15-yarder that is not malicious and kind of borderline. You can call that a 15-yard penalty and it won't upset people. It's the throwing players out of the game that's so like over the top of a penalty for someone who really didn't do anything that wrong. Like the hip drop tackle is worse at this point. You're breaking people's legs and taking out entire seasons of them, or a hit where the guy kind of gets up a little slow and you're like, he's not even going into protocol. So I'm really interested because I think if you got into that where you could label it as a clear intentional, this guy was headhunting, like he went and lowered his helmet and launched and did all of those. He had every factor in there where you have to take out of targeting. And we have to get out of that to get to, okay, that's a flag, that's a targeting one. And then, or the targeting two is when it's blatant, and the targeting one is 15-yard penalty, which is still big. 15-yard penalties are huge, can swing games, but you don't necessarily have to. I think that would be the way to go, Matt, if they can figure that one out.
I really hope they do. I mean, there's nothing that drives me more crazy than a targeting penalty that is not malicious. It's not. It's just the helmet to helmet contact most of the time, just because the guy can't adjust his body before he makes contact with the other player. And now he's ejected from the football game because of a rule that nobody really has any clear meaning on in terms of like, this is definitively it or this is definitively not, it would seem, because there is ones that we have sat there and said, oh, that's definitely targeting. And then they don't get, and it gets reversed. And then there's ones we're saying, oh my God, that is 100% targeting. And then, or that's 100% not targeting, and then somebody gets called for it. So if they could figure out a way to, kind of minimize the damage of it and not suspend a player for a half or entire game, then I'm all for it. I hate the ejection part of it. I think it's stupid. You don't get ejected for doing a hip drop tackle, do you? It's just a 15-yard penalty. You don't get ejected for yanking somebody's face mask all the way in the wrong direction. So why should you get ejected from the game for something like that? You should only get ejected if you punch somebody or do something of that nature.
Yeah, I get if you get a targeting where you launch with your helmet down and you do everything, like you hit all of the marks of targeting, where it's not he hit one of them, so it's targeting. Like he didn't jump, he didn't leave his feet, he didn't do it. But we've seen a few hits. There's a few hits every year where you're like, oh yeah, that you can't have that in the game, because you did just put a guy out on the back, and I think that one's fine to eject people for, because again, that's an egregious penalty. Like, and Bear, I'll say for the flagrants in the NBA, for the foot under, it's the Zaza Pachulia rule. When Zaza knocked Kawhi Leonard out of the playoffs and cost the Spurs a shot at a title in 2013, that was because he was just actively trying to break people's ankles by putting his foot underneath them when they land. So the NBA has gotten really big about not getting underneath players when they're doing it. College is the same way. We've seen flagrants in college now on fast breaks where a guy's going up to dunk and someone undercuts him and the guy falls on his back. And you're like, why do we have, you don't need to foul on that. There's no need to. Just let the 2 points. I get you want to contend it, but to make the game worse and be like, oh, we could lose a player for 6 months on a throwaway, don't let him score easy foul because a guy went underneath him and flipped him upside down. That's why they're trying to get rid of it. They're trying to get rid of injuries to people that are very preventable, and literally there's no real basketball move to do it. So that's why they do that. I think they call way too many flagrants, by the way, too. I think they are soft in other ways, but the feet under them, I completely get. You got to get it out of the game because people are just trained to do it. Like people in AAU get trained to do it because there's coaches in AAU who don't care about breaking kids' ankles. They're bad people. And they get trained to do it when they're kids. And European players will get trained to do it. Take out a guy. It's a good shooter. Get under his feet after everything. He'll stop shooting because he's afraid you're going to try and break his ankle. So there's a reason why they do it now, but once it's out of the game, it won't be as bad. There's just people that were trained to do it.
Yeah. The other thing that drives me crazy about targeting is when I watch Kirk Herbstreit called games. when every single time it's, what do you think, Bob? Do you think that? I mean, he clearly, this is launching with the head neck area
Yes.
with the crown of his helmet. I mean, clearly this is I mean, every time there is a Kirk Herbstreit called game, you get like 4 or 5 of those conversations. I am so tired of
it. Yeah, no, I mean, because it is there's football plays, there's football moves, and then we just see too many times targeting becomes something that is frustrating for everybody. We've seen it too many times now, and it's like to have it to where you're throwing a player out of a game for a questionable, and especially when you're like, both guys got shook up on it, both guys are on the ground. Clearly, it was not intentional by any means. And I do get the punching at the ball when it's coming out. As long as you're not fighting punching and it's within the game punching, it's legal. It's once it turns into fighting punching, like once it's Andre Johnson over Cortland Finnegan, then those kind of punches when he just beats the crap out of him on the ground. One of the great Texan moments, but beating up a Titan there. It was like
beating the piss out of Cortland Finnegan. Yeah. I'm a fan of them trying to fix the rule. It's one of the most annoying rules in sports, and I'm certainly tired of it. Let's also, while they're meeting, send expert officials into that area, into that venue, and say, hey, I'm going to school you guys on how to call football games because you guys were dog water all season long.
Yeah.
Officiating was horrible across college football this year. Horrible. The worst I've seen it in years.
Yeah, it was not great. There was so many, again, there's so many things that could be done with expedited reviews where you just go, hey, you blew that call. You just blew the call. Fixed it. We're good. Someone else watched it. We could tell very easy. It's not a judgment thing. They're not close. It's the way of when I have to explain to people what a catch is. And that I'm like, there is no actual rule for what a catch is. A catch is there. It's so described in a way, and how many ways we've heard it described now is if they call it a catch on the field, they can find a way to make it stay. If they call it incomplete on the field, there's a way they can make it incomplete. And the same catch, they can make it whatever they want it to be because the rules are bendable and malleable enough to go in there. So it is completely insane. The rules. It's like to have those guys not be able to change anything because they're just so stubborn. We see it in college basketball now. They'll do reviews, and in the NBA they do reviews, and they're like, they've called penalties and then gone back and watch it, and there's no contact, and they're like, well, he looked at him wrong, and you're like, guys, just admit you blew the call. Just admit you blew the call, and we'll move on. It's fine. We get it. No one's perfect. Like the quarterbacks missed some passes tonight. Wide receivers drop passes. We get it. We're fine with it if you're not necessarily there, but you have to be able to fix those expedited reviews. I don't think that's what they're going to come up with, though. I think hopefully the best we can hope for is that the targeting changes. Randy, because you can punch a guy. Guys get punched constantly in football. When they're punching for the ball, you miss and hit arms and everything else, and it's not, and it doesn't happen enough that it's like every single play. But yeah, there's certain players, once you get held up, that's also the ref to blow the whistle. Because as soon as you blow the whistle, the punching should stop. If you're still punching after the whistle blows, then it's a penalty. But that's the ref having to have the realization to go, the guy stood up, he's not moving forward anymore. Blow the whistle so they can't just keep punching him. Sometimes they let those plays go too far in those, but it's football. They allow them. They allow it to try and punch a ball out, and when it works, it's great. It's a lot of fun. But they teach him how to do it. Matt, we also did have a player on campus today, Sterling Burkhalter, wide receiver out of Wake Forest. He is in a similar boat to Seymour. However, he has already, I believe, received his injury waiver for the 2023 season. So he was another 2021 kid who was redshirted in 2021, played in 2022, missed all of 2023, played in 2024 and 2025. I believe he's already received his medical waiver. So he will be eligible to play next season. That was one of the reasons, though, why he was not necessarily in the first run of targets, and people weren't looking at him as much as they wanted to see if he was going to get his waiver in. But Texas is clearly looking at some of these older players right now and trying to bring in some experience and raise their average age, because we know Indiana was a much older team. And so you bring in somebody else. He's not an over the top. I mean, at Wake Forest, I think he had like 400 something yards and a couple touchdowns on 30 catches. He can be an explosive player behind. He's a pretty tall player, 6'3" as a wide receiver as well. I mean, he seems like he would be a depth piece for them at any rate. Probably not playing a ton, but maybe someone you could stick in there every once in a while and try and get a couple catches if he decides to come. But another interesting name of one of those depth pieces we expect to see over the next, month or so, of them kind of looking just to add to the team in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be a fan of this move. I'm all about bringing in another experienced wide receiver, considering the youth that you have in that room. Had they not, obviously he hasn't signed yet. He's on campus. He could end up anywhere. But he would fit, a backup X wide receiver behind Cam Coleman kind of mold at 6'3", over 200 pounds. They targeted him 50 times last year. He caught 30 of those balls and had 416 yards, averaged almost 14 yards per catch, had 2 touchdowns. He's a solid player. He's a big bodied guy. It would allow you to be a little bit more solid in your depth and put Khalil Lockett on one side and this guy on the other side, and as your backups to Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman. So it just kind of fills out your room with a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's going to be this, so do not quote me. Do not try and
even come still. He is not signed or anything. He's just visiting right now.
Yeah, this is all assuming that he signs, which he very well could not. He could end up going anywhere that he wants to, but he is on campus. But it kind of reminds me of the way that I felt about Matthew Golden before he came to Texas, because Isaiah Bond was the one everybody was like, hell yeah, we got Isaiah Bond, and then Matthew Golden ended up being the awesome one. And I mean, Isaiah Bond was good, don't get me wrong, but Matthew Golden kind of broke out and shattered everybody's expectations. I don't know that he's going to do that. It just kind of feels like, oh, another wide receiver. And you look at his numbers like, oh, he's pretty good. So, yeah, we'll see. I assume the visit's going well. Visits usually go very well. I'll be interested to see where else he takes visits. But I like the body type. I like the production. I like the experience. I don't know if he's a burner, if he's more of a projection guy.
The little bit of film I've seen of him, I don't know if he's really a burner so much as he could get pretty open. And so he found a way to be elusive enough to get open on some plays. And like his touchdown plays, he basically just gets open and then he's a huge target out there. And so you're able to put a big target out there. I am curious too. Like, I think that if you're looking at a guy like this, there is a point of it where you're a little bit more talking to him and going, okay, is this the role you want? When we put you in, you're going to have to block downfield. We like you as a big body guy because you can block downfield on some of these plays, but also get wide open. If you're wide open, we'll throw it down there. So I think that he probably play on the outside and be somebody down that he can go down and try and get you a couple of those plays like Parker Livingston, maybe, in that kind of sense of a guy who you're not expecting to have huge production for you, but a couple times down the season. And in all reality, it's if Khalil Lockett and Bishop and Dalen McCutcheon are all ready to go and they all play, he probably won't see as much time. Yeah. But you realize last year you relied too much on young players being ready, and they weren't early especially. So you want to have some other options. So that's where you start to look at you start to try and bring in some of those guys that maybe fill out the roster, be ready a little bit earlier. Now, he probably wouldn't be able to enroll in spring football here at Texas because I think technically I think you can get a waiver maybe into February depending on what classes you're getting into. Considering he's a senior, he may have already graduated. I don't know if he's graduated or not yet. But depending on what he's at, he's somebody that comes in that you just, you watch what Indiana did, and you can go, you can have good young talent, but you better have some guys that are ready to go out there and play, because it's great if Jermaine Bishop's the next Malachi Tony. That would be great. But if he's not, you better be ready with Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo and some other guys. It's great if Khalid Lockett and Dalen McCutcheon step out and they're both, 400-yard receivers next year. But if they're not, then it's nice to have somebody that you believe could go out and get you 300, 400 yards in a season over the whole season, just getting you, catch or two a game.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, he's comparable to Parker Livingston in the production sense. They had around the same amount of receptions. Parker had a couple of more explosive plays and a couple more touchdowns, but at the end of the day, it's a depth piece. He's your fourth or fifth wide receiver, maybe even your sixth wide receiver if you end up signing him. So it's fine. It's just a good way to kind of fill out the class with more experience and more depth, should they end up bringing him in. But and Randy, he'll be an X guy, same position as Cam Coleman. Just your outside X wide receiver that's big bodied and can go down the field and win one-on-one situations. So he's a good player. It'd be fun.
We also got a couple of hires that just happened as well. The bigger one being Kevin Mashup, I'm guessing. Mashup. Do we know how to pronounce that name?
I do not.
He is now the director of college scouting for Texas, taking over the role that Aaron Joe had a year ago, that went on to be the GM of North Texas. This is this is somebody that is, he's worked for Indiana in the past. He has worked for A&M in the past, but a bigger role in the era where you have to have, where you're scouting transfer portal kids and, you're dealing with recruiting and you're kind of all over the place in what you're scouting and trying to figure out with guys. It is a bigger and bigger role, that player acquisition through the portal. If he's a director of college scouting, you would assume it's more in the portal that he is looking, as opposed to high school scouting. But that's a big role, to be able to go find guys. And like we talk about it, if it's a Burkhalter, that type of guy that can go, hey, this player's out there and here's all the tape you want on this, or here's all the thing that, to have something where you're able to basically find a couple of guys that maybe are a little bit lower on people's radar, and maybe a Melvin Ciani, that type of guy like that you have a scout that says, we really want this guy, or we don't want to bring in so-and-so because so-and-so has these red flags. They're not really going to fit into what we do. When they run our offenses like how we like to run them, their production has gone way down. So here's where we can find those guys. It's an important job. He is somebody that I'm a little surprised that he doesn't seem to have connections in kind of the main states where they've been hiring guys, which is Louisiana, Florida, Georgia. He has connections in Tennessee. So Tennessee is still SEC area, but not necessarily the mecca of where a Georgia is for sure, and then a Florida and Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, he's an experienced guy that knows the college landscape. I'm not sure why A&M fans are so excited about this hire for Texas. It's kind of odd to me, because he was involved with the Aggies in 2022 when they brought in the number one recruiting class in the history of the modern recruiting era. So he knows what he's doing. I don't think it's a huge deal because Brandon Harris is still number one A in charge of that stuff, and he'll be a part of the process, and he'll be fine. He's got experience in Indiana and in A&M and Tennessee State, and he knows the Tennessee area really well. And he's also been a running backs coach and a wide receivers coach at different times. So he's also got NFL experience. So I mean, he's probably a pretty good talent evaluator, and they're bringing in another guy that can help them in the talent evaluation department. And I'm fine with it. I think it's cool.
Yes. They've also brought in a new player for the Matt King, who will be part of the strength and conditioning staff as well. So that will be a different another one that is brought in as they begin winter conditioning and start to really ramp up some of those conditioning. Just another, it looks like to be another body in there to help out and give personalized attention to some of these younger players as we're trying to get them set on what their workout plans need to be when they're not going to be reporting in every single day.
Yeah. Strength and conditioning people are some of the most important people in your program because they're the only ones that really have access to the players 24/7 throughout the off season and outside of practice and all those things. Are the only ones that are permitted to spend time with those kids, throughout the entire time until you get to spring football. Like they just started winter workouts today. And, it's the strength and conditioning staff running that stuff. That Steve Sarkisian's not really involved in any of it. It's just the strength and conditioning coaches. So the more good, solid guys you have on that staff that can work with your kids on a day-to-day basis, the better.
Yeah, that's what you want to be able to pull off. So a couple moves there. We'll see if we get any news from Sterling Burkhalter if he decides to make a decision today or not. What you got?
The Eagles just hired their offensive coordinator.
They did. The Eagles did just hire their offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion, who is the quarterback's coach for Green Bay until he takes that job.
A formerly very mid quarterback for Oregon State.
I know they were looking at the Texas Draw Johnson, the Texans quarterback coach as well for that job. Kind of surprising they went that route. I think there were some really good names that were available in the process, and they apparently wanted to go with somebody that I guess maybe they thought they would be able to keep longer or put in there. I mean, I know Nick Sirianni feels like he's not necessarily the most beloved coach who's won a Super Bowl and had a really successful team for a couple of years. I don't know how much the Philly fan base really believes in him as a head coach, but he's getting a new coordinator. It seems like they're switching almost every year, at least some points. Yeah, Jalen Hurts can't keep anybody because Jalen Hurts is the same thing as Baker Mayfield, which is if Jalen Hurts does well, you get a head coaching job. And if Jalen Hurts does poorly, you get fired. And those are the only two ways it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't feel bad for Jalen Hurts because he's the Eagles quarterback, so screw it. Screw him, screw the Eagles, screw them all. I mean, the guy's only 33 years old, so he's a young guy. Maybe he's incredibly football smart and will be a great play caller. I don't know. I don't think he's ever done it before, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm just glad they didn't get Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled they did not get Mike McDaniel as well. It does feel like Mike McDaniel went around for a few jobs and then realized what he wanted was to go back to California. And he's like, I'm going to go work with Justin Herbert and get him to play really well. And I guess him and Harbaugh had a few conversations and they got along well enough. And like, I think the fact that Harbaugh understands how important that role was going to be, that he really walked him in and said, front and center, man, we'll make you look, we'll treat you like a head coach coming in. That the social media team has all these videos with Mike McDaniel and stuff, that they were really treating him like a big hire as opposed to some of these other places who maybe were going to be like, well, we want you to come in and fit what we do. Like maybe a Detroit being one of those teams that we want to do things the Dan Campbell way, and we want you to kind of run what we've been running. Mike McDaniel goes, no, not what we're doing. We're going to do it my way. I'm a good enough coach. I should not have been fired. What I was able to pull off after they destroyed my defense and took everybody away. And then Tyreek Hill got hurt and we got better because maybe he's a cancer right now. But they got to figure out that team, the Dolphins have enough of their own problems. Got to figure out what to do with Tyreek Hill and Tua at this point going forward. And then I don't think they want Quinn Ewers because I think that was a Mike McDaniel pick. So I don't know what they're going to do with Quinn Ewers now as well. Hopefully send him to LA. Send him to LA to stay behind Matt Stafford. I think that would be a great place for him. You could even really put him in Minnesota. He could probably take over for JJ McCarthy pretty quickly. Come in and
don't even get me started about that debate. Good night.
I just want to throw Matt a softball there. Nice easy one. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see. I imagine they're just going to keep him on the roster, and he's like one of those guys that's really good, and he'll get kind of screwed like Sam Ehlinger, which is everybody likes him, but no one's going to play him. And when you get put like that, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he'll improve enough that he'll be able to get in the conversation, and the coaches will come after him. And Randy, I agree. Jalen Hurts is rolled, but again, Jalen Hurts is one of those guys. He has a lot of talent. He's not, he's a heady enough player when you put him out there, but he has to have the right OC. Jared Goff is that way. Baker Mayfield's that way. Like, there's a lot of these guys that are not going to be great no matter what system you put him into. Like, you look at Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner is probably the greatest example of a quarterback in the right system who is an MVP caliber player, and outside of it is not a starting quarterback. And we saw it after he left St. Louis, and it was like he immediately was terrible, and then he goes back into a good system, and he was amazing again. And you're just like, oh yeah, systems are really important to some quarterbacks, and Jalen Hurts has to be in the right system, and he's really, really good. And you take him out of that system, and he's a fish out of water. Does not work at all. So, I think that he's one of those guys. That'll be the question for Quinn Ewers. Is Quinn Ewers a guy who can flourish anywhere, or is he more of a system guy? Now, everybody flourishes more if you put him in a good system, but can you succeed without the system? Because we don't know what they're going to be able to put up in Miami, especially with Bobby Slowick being the play caller. It's not confidence inspiring.
No, it's not. I think Quinn's an interesting case because I think he's got the tools to be successful in most systems. He's just so adept at running the type of system that he had in Miami because it's very similar to what he did at Texas, and it's very similar to what they do in San Francisco, and it'll be pretty similar, I would imagine, in LA with Mike McDaniel, and it's pretty similar to what they do with the Rams as well. So, maybe he'll find a good landing spot, and be a career backup. I look, some of these quarterbacks that have been career backups and have been pretty good when they've had their opportunity. I mean, they make a really good career out of it. He can be one of those guys. There's no doubt in my mind about it.
Oh no, I'm with it. I'm like, from the beginning, I was like, Quinn Ewers seems like a guy that you would love to have as a backup because he fits in well. I think you could put him system to system, and he will still kind of learn it and get into it and do it. 49ers would be great for Quinn Ewers as well. Put him with Shanahan, and where that works, if they need to find the next Mac Jones, because Mac Jones is going to be sought after this year. And Colt again, CB, you're right. He was a great backup. So I think Quinn Ewers has a lot of that in front of him. It's just unfortunate that he fell into a situation that was really, really good for him, and then that fell apart pretty quickly because they let go of Mike McDaniel in that weird way. That I think it was Darren Waller talking about it. That Darren Waller was like in his final meetings with Mike McDaniel, and the owner walks in, Stephen Ross walks in, and they ask Darren Waller to leave, and then like 10 minutes later, Mike McDaniel report is that he's fired. You're like, wow, that was quick. He's like, that dude did not see it coming necessarily. I think he thought he was going to be okay in that one. Maybe a little bit more painful when that happens. Matt, we talked last couple days about ranking some SEC rooms for next season. And you mentioned it yesterday, so let's wrap that up here because we got a few minutes to get to the last couple rankings that you've got going of the offensive line and for the defenses in the SEC. A little bit harder to pull off completely. We do feel better about Texas offensive line after the addition of Seymour, Lawrence Seymour, who still we're waiting for the final, the final piece of his eligibility. But they're saying they feel good about it the same way that the kid that's on campus right now was already given his. They feel good throwing in maybe the word that Texas also help him out a little bit. Hey, we're Texas. You guys can help us out, right? NCAA. He's coming to a nice real school. We're gonna treat him right.
Yeah, I mean the Seymour thing is interesting because it doesn't have anything to do with an injury. Apparently, it has something to do with like a transfer rule with resident, like state residency or something weird like that. At least that's what was reported by Inside Texas yesterday, or maybe it was today. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm going to assume they wouldn't have signed him if they didn't think that,
yes,
you know, they were going to get the deal done. And his agent seems very confident about it. So, assuming that he's in the fold, I mean, I think Texas's offensive line is vastly improved. I think it is much more comparable to the 2024, 2023 offensive lines that you had here. I think that, you know, obviously Trevor Gooseby isn't Kelvin Banks, but he's a future first round pick. I think Melvin Siani is better than Cameron Williams or Christian Jones. So that's an upgrade there. I think Connor Robertson is kind of not that different from Jake Majors if he can just, you know, improve a little bit. I mean, Jake Majors is the one NFL player or non-NFL player from that group that that made a pretty good career in at Texas, and I think Connor Robertson can have a really good year with a little bit more stability around him. I think that Brandon Baker is going to be very comparable, if not better, to Hayden Connor. And, you know, Lawrence Seymour is better than DJ Campbell. So at least more technically sound and more reliable than DJ Campbell. Maybe not talent-wise, but, you know, he's probably a future NFL player. If he can have a good year in a big exposure at Texas, I think he has an opportunity there. So it's going to be a much better offensive line. In terms of where it ranks in the SEC, there was a lot of bad offensive line play in the SEC last year.
There's a lot of bad offensive line play in football.
Yes. So I think that, you know, one of the better offensive lines in the conference last year was A&M, and it's been absolutely gutted, and they replaced it with a bunch of very average players, so they slide down the list. I think that your top three offensive lines are probably LSU, Ole Miss, and my big, you know, dark horse candidate for one of the top offensive lines in the SEC is actually Kentucky. They did a phenomenal job in the transfer portal. They went out and got Lance Hurd from Tennessee, Tegra Shabala from Ohio State. They brought in Colton Price as well and Max Anderson, and they also have Malachi Wood on the other side, who was a really good player for them last year. So I think those are probably your top three offensive lines. I think Texas probably fits in there somewhere, you know, around 5 or 6 in the conference, which is, I would say, much improved, considering it was probably bottom 5 or 6 last year. So they took a big step forward. I'm trying to think if anybody else is in there, but, you know, it's going to be a very good, solid offensive line that is much, much improved, especially in pass protection, which I think is the most important aspect of this. And it's going to be a very fleet-footed offensive line that's good at pulling and outside zone stuff and those kinds of things as well. So it could end up being a top 5 one in the conference, but it's much better. LSU's is interesting to me because obviously I don't think it would have been there had they not gotten Jordan Seaton. It would have been solid, but it's much better now. But Ole Miss brought in a bunch of players, so they might have the best offensive line in the SEC.
No, I think Ole Miss is going to be up there as well. But yeah, I would probably put them. And again, it's going to be until we see it out on the field. There's just going to be a certain amount that all Texas fans are going to have of PTSD of, you know, last season to get into that. Which, by the way, is what Joe brings up of this question: if Quinn Ewers had stayed, do you think Texas would have made the college football playoff? They may have, because they may have beaten Florida in that game. They wouldn't have won a national title though, because there were just too many flaws in that roster offensively that I don't think the run game would have still been there. I don't think the offensive line would have been able to protect him well enough that I think they could have won some games, but they wouldn't have been like, they couldn't beat a Miami or a Indiana the way they were playing at the end of the year.
No, I don't know if they would have beaten Florida because the offensive line play in that game was so anemic that I don't know if anybody could have survived back there. And I thought Arch did a hell of a job in that game and put him in a good position to try and come back. I do think they would have beaten Ohio State, though, as funny as that sounds.
They
because
could have.
Arch was not good in that game at all.
That's true. That's true. They may have been able to win that one. I think the domino effect of that, though, is the more scary part of it because you're like, if Quinn Ewers plays last year, he stays, we lose Arch. He's going.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he's not staying there. He would transfer off somewhere. And the funny part is he may have ended up at Ole Miss. He could have ended up at Ole Miss because at the time, Austin Simmons was taking over for Jackson Dart. But if that Arch was available, screw Austin Simmons. They didn't know about Trinidad Chambliss was going to be as good as he was. And so you say there's family ties there, a good team. He possibly could have been at Ole Miss. I mean, because you say he's probably not going to Georgia to take over for Gunnar Stockton because they were Gunners there already, so you're probably not going in there. I don't know if he'd want to go to Alabama with Kalen DeBoer. I assume he's staying in the SEC somewhere. Technically, he could have been the hero to go into Tennessee with Josh Heupel, but I don't think he would want to play in that offense. I don't think they'd want to put him in the Josh Heupel offense. So it's like, I don't know where he would have ended up necessarily, but it wouldn't have surprised me if they put him with Lane Kiffin and just said, there's a quarterback guru again, another quarterback guy, go on in. They just lost Jackson Dart to the NFL. He was a first-round pick that no one thought was going to be there. We could have seen that. Just an interesting what-if moment that if Quinn had come back, that I'm with you. I think maybe they beat Ole Miss or beat Ohio State, but I don't know if they really affects them enough down the stretch. I don't know if you beat, I don't know if you win some of those games that Arch Manning had great runs in as well late in the season.
Yeah, I don't know if you beat A&M.
The line wasn't there, and the defense wasn't there late in the season.
I don't know if you beat A&M. I don't know if you beat Vanderbilt. There were so many games in there that Arch played so well that I don't know if Quinn would have played that well in those games or not. Like it's hard to imagine. I even if that all happened and Arch hit the portal, I don't think he would have ended up at Ole Miss.
I just don't know where he would have ended up
because from everything that I heard, just kind of behind the scenes, I don't think Arch's mom liked Lane Kiffin at all.
Oh, I could believe that. Believe that. It's more the line of where else could he end up and stay in like SEC play because they'd probably want to keep in the SEC.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to stay in the SEC, you're not probably going to A&M. You're probably not going to Oklahoma. Probably, Florida, you weren't going to go play for Florida. Like, that's what I'm saying is it would have been interesting. And I'm like,
my guess is Alabama.
It could have been Alabama. That he would have gone to. He's friends with Ty Simpson though, so I don't even know if he'd want to. But I think Georgia was number 2. I just don't think they would have been like, let's give him $10 million to come because we have Gunnar Stockton. So you would like Arch more than him, but I don't know if you would make that move. I think you may just go, we feel good about Gunnar Stockton. Let's not bring in the unknown commodity of the Arch Manning.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. Maybe Kirby would just be like, screw it, Gunnar. Sorry, bud.
Fortunately, we didn't have to find out.
No, fortunately we didn't. Because again, I will say to answer that question the long way around is I think we may have made the playoffs. We wouldn't have won it. And then our season this year, we would have just had to go find a transfer quarterback somewhere. So maybe Sam Leavitt or somebody like that, or DJ Lagway or somebody like that's our quarterback. So I think we're, in the grand scheme of things, in a better position to win a national title. The fact that Quinn Ewers left last year.
Yeah. I'm a Quinn truther.
I love Quinn, but I think that team had so many other flaws in it that it wasn't going to be able to work even with Quinn Ewers.
Agreed.
You take the fact that there wasn't the solid number 2 wide receiver that we needed. That was a Matthew Golden or a Bond or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I think, maybe a little bit. So it's just a little interesting what if there that I enjoy. We're at senioritis. It's fun to talk about. And Julian Sayin may have come. Yeah, they may have been able to get Julian Sayin to come instead of Ohio State as well. So I don't know. It's definitely it's definitely an interesting piece of like that. If that domino fell, how many other dominoes change? Because the Ole Miss one is mainly interesting because then there's no Trinidad Chambliss. He's just a backup quarterback at Ohio, at Ole Miss, never plays, and no one knows how good he is.
I don't even know why we're talking about this.
I think
he probably would have ended up at LSU. Now that I think about it,
but they had Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah, but I feel like typically if players are leaving in the portal, being closer to home is something that's important to them.
Yeah.
And that's right down the road from New Orleans. I don't know. It's possible.
He may have gone to Tulane.
Hey, maybe.
Got to Tulane there. No, because I thought about LSU too, but I'm like, they had Nussmeier, so they wouldn't have been in the market, I don't think, as much to go get somebody. Just interesting stuff. So that's your offensive line, though. We talk about that. And yes, the center experience for Lawrence Seymour is also interesting. Just to say, maybe in case of emergency, break glass. That maybe he could have that if if you're not sure about what your backup center role is going to be, because I don't know if we have a true backup center at Texas right now that they would feel comfortable playing for a game. So I think that there maybe could be some more guards that they would feel more comfortable playing and maybe move Seymour inside, but who knows? I know they will have to worry about what happened to Texas this year when they played the wrong guy at center, and it did not work out for a lot of the season. So then if we look at offensive line, Matt, let's look over at defenses real quick, because this one is big for Texas in the fact that they really tried to make a big change, bringing in Will Muschamp. I think you brought in some good linebackers. Again, Rasheem Biles, people are really, really high on for Rasheem Biles. As well. And the addition, return Colin Simmons, return a lot on that defensive line that you feel really good about. The secondary, you felt like you were going to have a lot more attrition, but you bring back a lot of players now that hit the portal, came back to Texas. So you feel pretty good about a lot of those things on that defense. Who are your top defenses in the SEC right now, Matt?
Well, I certainly think Texas is one of them. I think that they're going to be better defensively than they were this year, in part because of Will Muschamp, but also because I really like the addition of Biles, Juice Cryer, Bo Masco, Ian Gaffard, I don't know how you pronounce it. Him on the inside, I think, is huge. Lance Jackson being a major part of this defense, I think, is going to be a great thing. Justice Terry being a part of this defense more regularly is going to be a great thing. So I think there'll be a top 2 or 3 defense in the SEC. I think that you're probably looking at, a couple of the usual suspects in terms of the top defenses as well. I think Oklahoma is going to be there again. I think Georgia is going to be there again. LSU, I think, is going to be there again because they got a bunch of really good players in the portal and they're returning a lot of really good players there. Ole Miss is going to be up there because they have done a very good job in the portal as well. And Pete Golding, I think, is now going to be free to do a little bit more of what he wants to do defensively. And, I feel like we've kind of said the same couple of teams for a lot of these spots. Yeah. And that should kind of tell you the way that at least I think the SEC is going to shake out next year. I think that you have a chance to have. Oh, also, I do think Texas A&M's defense is going to be pretty good next year. So I think they're probably a top 6 or 7 defense. But I think that your big contenders in the SEC next year, just based on the way things have shaken out thus far, are going to be Texas and Georgia and Ole Miss and LSU. I think those are kind of the 4 teams that you're looking at as the top contenders. Maybe Oklahoma and A&M can have similar years to what they had this year.
Yep.
And there will be a dark horse team probably as well that does a lot better than we anticipate.
Yeah, it's curious if like a Missouri figures it out with Eli Drinkwitz stays, if Auburn figures it out with Golich coming in and having the same quarterback. I don't know if Summerall
actually.
Yeah, I don't know if Summerall at Florida is going to be able to turn it around in 1 year. It just seemed like that was such a dumpster fire of a team last year. So I don't know how Billy Napier left it. I don't know if that's one of those teams. The big one is Alabama is curious because Alabama doesn't feel like they're one of those teams right now that's like in the top mix. and what happens when they're not. If they do miss the playoffs, if they do lose, 4 games in a season, God forbid Alabama lose 4 games in a season, does do they actually kill Kalen DeBoer and sacrifice him and then do it for the next 6 coaches that they have as their team falls back off because they're just like, you're not Nick Saban, and you're like, yeah, there's not another one. Good luck.
We could go get Kurt Signetti.
Kurt Signetti seems like he's fine in Indiana right now.
Yeah, he says that until a real big school comes knocking. Where was he going to go this year instead of Alabama? Instead of Indiana.
Michigan would have been the other big one.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants that as his long-term destination job. What I honestly think is going to happen though is they're going to go 8-4, 9-3. They're going to miss the playoff. They're going to fire Kalen DeBoer, and then Lane Kiffin's going to leave LSU for Alabama.
I really just want that to happen for how hilarious it would be.
Yeah,
and like the LSU is like, guys, everyone has to block Lane Kiffin's phone number from your phone. Like everybody, we're like putting up a blocker that his phone number, like you can't get contacted from him within the facility. It seems like but yeah, it's an interesting part is as you go through, it is kind of the same teams who spend a lot of money, who really, try to improve their team in the portal, continue to recruit well at high school. You have coaches you believe in. Because A&M falls into that now with Mike Elko. I think Brent Venables is probably on the outside of that of coaches you really believe in. But I think Mike Elko is probably in there of coach you believe in, along with Sark and Kiffin and Kirby, of course. The question is Golding as well at Ole Miss. Is Golding and the staff there? That's a wild card. We don't know.
Yeah, jury's still out. He did a great job this year, but can he do it long term is my only question.
So it does end up with the kind of weird point for the SEC. It's like who's the dark horse that breaks through? Is there, can Will Stein do something crazy with Kentucky and just really throw a wrench into it? I don't think they're competitive to win the conference, but I do think they could spoil somebody's day. I think they could knock somebody off. I think they're definitely that team. Does South Carolina figure it out after Lenore Sellers, and we were so high on them last year? Do they figure anything out and get going forward because they just had such a piss poor 2025? It's like, can they pick it back up? I think is an interesting team to look out for. Tennessee seems like they're dead, but they always seem like they're dead in the water. Like there's not an exciting, being a Tennessee fan in football seems awful right now because you're like, we're not going to be bad enough to fire Heupel, but we're also not going to be good enough to really compete because the SEC is too good.
I think Heupel's a really good coach.
I do too.
I think it's only a matter of time before they're a perennial top 5 team. They just got to start competing in the portal the way some of these other teams are competing in the portal. And if they can start to do that, then they're going to be unbelievable.
That's the thing is some of these teams are like, you're not spending the money. Alabama didn't spend the money. So as much as they're going to get mad at Kalen DeBoer, they weren't really able to do it. Now, we did see the Hollywood Smothers quote today from On 3 that he said, basically, I'm not reading the quote, but it was that it wasn't as NIL wasn't the main factor. He wanted, it was more about winning, and he believed that was the case at Texas, which is only really offensive if you're an Alabama fan, because he is stating, no, winning is more important. So that's why I left Alabama to go to Texas, because I felt like we had a better chance to win. And I get that. Like I'm on board for that. I just that feels like where everybody, if you lose in any portal, we get it. We're all human beings. If anybody doesn't go to your school and goes to another, it's because of money. And if they go to your school instead of someone else, it's because they love your school and they're good kids. It's just the way we all are. Like it's the old George Carlin bit. Your stuff is stuff, their stuff is shit.
Yeah.
Get your shit out so we can put in so I have more room for my stuff. It's kind of that concept in the transfer portal. We get it. But Alabama, for whatever reason, I don't feel like they really tried to. It doesn't feel like the boosters and donors right now really have this, they feel like they've already decided that they don't want Kalen DeBoer out, and they're just waiting for the buyout to go down. And they're like, well, if you're able to make it work with what we give you, but we're not going to give you the same money that everyone else is working with in the SEC.
Yeah, I'm going to look at their depth chart for 2026 real quick. See who all is gone here. I mean, they're gutted. No Jeremy Bernard, no Isaiah Horton, no Caden Proctor, no Cam Dewberry, Parker Brailsford, Ty Simpson's gone, Jam Miller's gone. Like, dude, they're in trouble.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get why Alabama fans are freaking out right now.
Yeah,
because this doesn't feel like they went out, and in today's age, you can't just blame recruiting on the coaching though. There's a certain part of it where you go, the money has to be with it. And if you're not going to go out and try and wow these guys, especially in the SEC, where Texas and Texas A&M and LSU and Ole Miss, we're all throwing, in Georgia, we're all throwing money around. Like, it was not one school throwing money around. Hell, LSU threw tons of money around this offseason. They were just, let's go get everybody, because they were excited. They're excited about what Lane Kiffin's going to do. And Alabama ain't excited. Not one bit. So, Bama right now doesn't have to figure it out. It feels like Kalen DeBoer, and I think Zay was saying this before us. It's like he should have taken that Michigan job. Like, if he knew how much money he was going to get there, like, go to Michigan, dude. They don't want you. They're waiting to fire you now. And I get you want to stick it out, but if they're not going to give you the money to make the team better, you're done.
I'm glad he didn't do that. I think that had he done that, yeah, we do need to check on Bruce and see how he's doing. Had he gone to Michigan, I think that there's a legitimate shot that Curt Cignetti could have been brought to Alabama. And that would have terrified me.
Yeah, I don't know, though, because the scheduling of it. I don't know. I feels like Cignetti wasn't going to walk away this season.
I don't know. Maybe they would have waited for him.
I know Lane Kiffin may have ended up there if it would have happened earlier.
Yeah.
He may have tried to pull the double reverse switch move and be on coach for 3 SEC teams in a row. Just went back to back. Then, I mean, he'd also have Tennessee on that schedule already that he's coached for. So he's trying to get everybody, cross off all 16 teams before it's done. Now let's take our first break here. We come back. We'll talk some basketball, Texas versus Auburn, the loss last night. We'll also get into some NFL and whatever you guys want to talk about. We got 3 hours of show left for you. Texas Sports Unfiltered. So I'll tell you what, whatever you guys want to throw in there. You've thrown in some good stuff so far. It's been fun playing with you guys today. Some good stuff, some what ifs, some hypotheticals that I love going through and doing. So keep those coming. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes. And keep rolling into hour 2 here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street, hold the door for people behind us, tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics, but more importantly, have a great holiday season and a fucking awesome next year.
You see Covert everywhere. It's that personal level of just feeling like it's a personal family interaction.
The customer service, it's impeccable. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced buying a car.
Over the 30 years that I've been buying cars from them, I feel like I know them and they know me.
Covert's done an amazing job of making me feel valued. If you purchase a vehicle and you want to feel like you're part of a family, join the Covert family.
Come and experience it for yourself.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
BK here for Olipop. Man, this stuff is the game changer of all game changers. Their slogan is a new kind of soda, and that's exactly what it is. You get that same great soda taste, but Olipop is actually good for you. Inside of every can, a blend of 7 unique botanicals, plant fibers, and prebiotics. You're getting 9 grams of fiber in every can, only 2 to 5 grams of sugar, and man, the flavor is absolutely there. Classic soda flavors like cola, root beer, lemon lime, and Dr. Goodwin. That's their version of a Dr. Pepper, and some other great flavors as well. The grape, the cream soda, the cherry cola. It's all fantastic. I'm telling y'all, Olipop tastes just like the soda you grew up sipping, but with the added benefits of microbiome and digestive health support as well. Pick up Olipop at H-E-B, Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, and Costco all throughout the Austin area and the state of Texas. And head over to drinkolipop.com. Use the promo code Texas20 for a discount on your first purchase. It's Olipop, a new kind of soda.
Welcome back in. It's Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open, 512-222-9328. And, of course, on the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. You're bringing some good stuff today. So appreciate you hanging out, bringing some good stuff. We'll keep going on with that. We'll get into some Texas basketball as well here in hour 2, and a disappointing loss to Auburn last night. Joe is saying that DeBoer is gone if they don't make the college football playoff. And yeah, I agree. Sark is not fired if they don't now, if they didn't make the playoff completely, it's maybe a different discussion of if they just completely fail the entire Arch Manning years, depending on what happens, it's a weirder discussion. But if they just don't make it back, if they can't get over that hump, it does feel like you're starting to see more and more of, all right, well, now we're getting rid of some more people on your staff. Things have to keep changing because we're giving you a lot of money and it's not working out the way we want. So it does feel like there's a bit more of a warm seat for Sark if he doesn't get there. I have faith. I believe he's going to get there, though, so we don't even have to worry about it.
We don't have to worry about it because Texas is going to win the national championship next year.
And yeah, Bama fans, we're pissed about some others, which I get. When you, again, say it, everybody who leaves, who doesn't pick your school is just for the money, and everyone who picks your school is because they love your school and they want to play for a good team. It's just the way everyone sees it. So when Holly Smothers moved and did the flip and Cam Coleman didn't go, Texas must have given him 7 cars to get him to come over there instead of Alabama. But we'll get through that one. Hair of the dog, yes. I still talk Texas basketball. I will still talk Texas basketball. I'm not. It's not giving me an ulcer. I'm fine. Doing great. No problems. No problems at all. I did, Matt. I didn't tell you this. I did. We're finally getting warm enough weather now that the ice is finally melting everywhere because it's just been there for a couple days. Last night, walk the dog, and then and I keep seeing starts, so there's still some ice somewhere in some of the place on the sidewalks. You're kind of going around it, being careful. You're like, don't want to fall my big ass over. So, trying to be careful. And finally it got me on day 3 that we went in and taking a corner. And then I thought it was just a wet spot and didn't realize it was still iced, and did the whole, I didn't do the bad fall, but I did the splits fall where you get all out, and it wasn't terrible, but it was enough that I was like, this is gonna be bad. So it wasn't terrible, but everybody was like, oh man, you skin up your knee. I'm like, my knee's fine. Because I went down to one knee. I didn't go all the way down, went down to one knee, but it was the immediate splitting at 40 something years old that I did not want to that I was like, this is how bad things happen. Is you just had that little slip on some ice. And so today when I was walking the dog, it was like you would still see little pieces. Ran into my man Rob Babers when it was out. Shout out Rob Babers, always one of the greats. But yeah, being super careful. Anytime you see anything that's wet now, it's like, is this ice or not? And no one saw me, Souls. No one saw me fall. So it was good. I didn't have the thing where you get up and you try and pretend that it's a new, you're doing, you're doing a new workout. It's the new workout I'm doing. I just like to do that every 5 or 6 steps. Like to take a lunge, just an unplanned lunge that I want to take every 5 or 6 steps. I didn't have to do that. But yeah, it was that one, it was a little humbling to have that one and just be like, got cocky. You got real cocky. Thought you just walk down and not get any more ice. So I'm hoping that everything evaporates before it freezes again this weekend, because I don't want to deal with any more ice.
I hope for that as well. It's going to be like in the 60s now, like pretty routinely going forward in Houston, I think. So I'm pretty good there. Hey Joe, let's not do that in the chat.
No, there's no need for Bucky slander. Bucky's the man.
Yeah, we love Bucky. But anyway, here's my question. You talk about falling down on your face, Patrick, doing the splits.
Yes.
You're a worse analyst on the internet or on social media than Emmanuel Acho. I mean, I am just getting inundated with horrible Emmanuel Acho takes.
Oh, he knows what he's doing. He's getting paid to do it. It's what Fox Sports does. Like, he works for Fox Sports. That's part of their whole routine. Is trying to make him the next Skip Bayless, and just the thing where it's just like you can only have hot takes. We don't want warm takes. We definitely don't want rational takes. We want you to divide. We want you to make it so everybody hates everybody. Because the only reason you're talking about the Browns hiring Todd Monken and Shedeur Sanders is to get people upset. It's the only reason. They're not really relevant.
Like, what in what realm does it make sense to put out on the internet to Shedeur Sanders for him to hear, you should not listen to your new head coach?
But that's the thing.
Is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I don't think Shedeur is going to care about it either. Shedeur's like, no, I'm going to listen. Unless he tells me I'm a backup, and then I'm not going to listen. But
it's the principle of the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it really bothers me. And now he comes out with a new video. The Eagles have hired Sean Mannion. Here's everything you need to know. Like, what the fuck do you know about Sean Mannion? Did you spend a lot of time around Sean Mannion at the Packers?
No. Look, the whole reality is it's the fact that they still believe that Skip Bayless is somewhat digestible. And I can't stand any of it. I just hate all of it, what they do. I hate the fact that the medium that I loved and grew up and wanted to be a part of, and so happy that I get to be a part of and do fun shows, is such a shit show, because the people who don't like sports, don't like reasonability, like anything. They don't like anything. They like money. And they're like, the only thing that works is clicks online. So all we're trying to do is get clicks online, and we'll get a lot more clicks if you go out and say the dumbest thing possible, which is, if I'm Shedeur Sanders, why would I listen to him? And this is the craziest part. If I was Shedeur Sanders, why would I listen to Deion Sanders, who is a known bad college football coach?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel it's the same thing. Why would he have listened to Deion Sanders? Deion Sanders also no experience, not a winner as a coach.
He did pretty good at Jackson State, Patrick. Come on, what are you talking about?
That's right. He's got all them rings. He's all good. So no, it's all about clicks. It's all about that. So no, it's one of the reasons why it's sad that Texas Sports Unfiltered is not around, because I think many of us do a very good job of being more level-headed and trying to have real good sports content instead of just being raving lunatics yelling, except when I talk Texas basketball. Other than that, not raving lunatics getting all red-faced and getting upset about these things. It's awful, but it's because people who don't, it's like sports teams that are run by people who don't know how to run a sports team. And they're just constantly bad, and there's nothing you can do about it because they won't hire the right people. That's how ESPN is. That's how Fox Sports is. That's how all these top ones are, is they're run by TV people. They're not run by sports people. So there's zero care about sports whatsoever. The fact that Kendrick Perkins is the guy and hasn't had a reasonable, good sports
worse. Yeah, he's worse than Emmanuel Acho.
Yeah. I mean, because I think Acho has had good takes at points. I don't know if Perk ever has. I think Perk's worse than his 3-point percentage, and that's not good. Not good at all. So it's awful sports coverage now. So we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us, because we do enjoy that we get to do it, and we'll see where things end up. I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any answers by tomorrow for a lot of us. Some of us there may be. For a lot of us, there may be down the road. So make sure to follow everybody online, and we'll try and be as open and tell as many people as we can. And I'm sure you guys will find what we do next. You guys are finding this stuff quicker than I can these days. I'm not very good at this, finding things.
Yeah. Well, here's what I would ask everybody in the chat and everybody listening to do. Just for me, I guess, or for Patrick as well. But here's what I want everybody to do. Go, if you follow me on Twitter, first of all, if you don't follow me or Patrick on Twitter, go ahead and go follow us, because we'll have updates there for whatever we end up doing next. But if you do follow me already, please mention me and just send me a mention that says Open Gym or something to that effect, so that I can go and make sure that I follow everybody in the chat. Because regardless of whatever ends up happening over the next few weeks, I still want to make sure I follow you guys and get to keep talking to you guys and hanging out with you guys online. So do me a favor and go do that, and you'll stay posted on whatever we end up doing going forward.
There you go. Let's
bring it on, Hair of the Dog.
Let's talk a little Texas basketball. They lose to Auburn last night, 88-82. It was a tale of two halves once again for Texas. This time they end up on the short end of the stick, losing the second half by 14 points and losing the game. Just a lot that goes wrong for Texas in this second half. The shooting percentages go down. They never really get Modest Voikatitis involved in the game. They don't get him much involved in the first half. In the second half, the first play of the game, they go to Modest. And you're like, okay. Sean Miller at halftime was like, guys, we're not going to be able to keep up with the way we're shooting. I understand we're not going to shoot. Let me look real quick at this. If I can pull up a real quick the actual PDF with the Texas shot in the first half 57% from 3-point. They were 8 for 14. You're not going to keep doing that in the second half. You're aware of that. If you're Sean Miller and you go, we have a lead, we need to maintain, we need to not let them go on runs. So if we can just get the ball into Modest, then he can kind of just keep going underneath, maybe get him in foul trouble, get some points up. That's what Modest does well. They just don't get him the ball. And they do, and he starts turning it over, and they're getting the ball too low. They keep throwing him low passes, and I don't know why. And I'm like, I get that this is what teams are doing now, is that they're just sticking their arms up around Modest, and then they throw the ball low, and they know once the ball's low, they can try and steal it. And you're usually not going to get those foul calls unless Modest comes up through it with the ball. You're not going to get those. So we saw that it was really not looking good for Texas in that second half with the shooting. They don't force turnovers. I think Tremont Mark had a really great play in there. Matt, Auburn had 3 turnovers in the game. 3. You only had 11. 11's not horrific. 11 is around what you're probably going to get. You'd like to keep it under 10, but 11 is not terrible. But only forcing 3 is, you can't do that. They have 7 points off turnovers, which is impressive because they scored on the turnovers they got, but they weren't able to keep getting turnovers. And if you're not able to keep getting turnovers, then it ends up that you're going to have a really hard time winning a lot of these games. And so everything comes out, and it doesn't look like it's going to go well for them in the second half. You have Tremont Mark. We talk about you have to have good games from Tremont Mark and Dalen Swain. And Dalen Swain, again, great performance, 30-point game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, has a really good game. But Tremont Mark gets in foul trouble, only plays 22 minutes, only scores 4 points, 2 for 13 from the field, Matt. This is a Texas team that when we look at it and go, the reason why I can't tell you if we're going to win or lose games ever again with the season is because it's like, well, is Tremont Mark and Dalen Swain playing up to it? Because if they're not, if one of them's off, we're probably going to lose. Because Jordan Pope played well to start, and then he fell off. Modest isn't. You can't trust anyone else to be there. You have to have Modest. You have to have Dalen Swain. You have to have Tremont Mark, and then you hope some other guys get going. Cam Heide having 17 points is great, but it doesn't really work if Tremont Mark comes out of the game for it, because you need him to be defensively. They didn't play defense in the second half. They fouled in the second half. They shot more free throws in the second half than Texas took in the game. Texas took 26 free throws. They shot 28 free throws, Auburn did, in the second half. So the refs were bad. They were calling way too much. They were calling a lot of BS in that game. Like, it was bad. And, like, I don't mean they were bad against Texas. I mean they were bad refs. It's often the case in college basketball. They start calling it one way, and then in the second half, they have to start turning it around. And so they were calling it a little bit more favorable to Texas early, and then they just went completely Auburn later. But out of all that being said, you start fouling. You're fouling three-pointers. Cam Heide can't keep with anybody. Jordan Pope fouls three-point shooters. I don't get it. I just don't get how – and it's kind of been the thing with Sean Miller that he's figuring stuff out, and I think Sean Miller's doing so many good things. And then he just – like, the fact that he didn't seem to teach them fundamentals at all and be like, these are the things you need to do in this defense, where before they were kind of in a place with RT a couple of years ago and with Chris Beard and even Shaka, to the point that the players you would have understood what the defense was, and they were coached to play that defense. And Sean Miller came in and instituted a different style of defense and didn't teach anybody really how to play it and just thought they'd be able to do it. And they're just fouling like crazy in it. And so they have to keep working on that, because when the refs start calling a game like that, you have to have your plan B. You have to be able to go, hey, man, they're calling it tight. Guys, we got to back up a little bit. We got to let them go. Like, I get it. We don't want them to get open threes, and they started hitting them in the second half, but we can't be fouling them on threes because now we're giving it too easy. Now, the fact that Murphy's able to just drive into the bucket, Hall was just able to get to the bucket again and again and again and get fouled and shoot free throws. He had 17 free throws himself, man. Like, when you have that, it's just hard to win. And I agree, Randy, we need a point guard. We need a power forward. We need a backup center. There's a lot of things Texas could use to be a really good, like, okay, this team's trying to be in the Sweet 16, Elite 8. But right now, you're in a game where it's like, if Tremont Mark or Dalen Swain doesn't play at their top level, it's over, because your defense is not going to be there. Once you lose one of those guys on either end of the floor, it just goes downhill.
Well, yes. The one positive thing that came out of this game, in my opinion, is that Dalen Swain is a certified dude.
Yes.
That guy is so good. 30 points for him in this game. 4 of 7 from 3, 10 of 16 from the field, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He led you in all 3 of those categories, by the way, which is not a good thing. But at least he's going out there and doing his thing and giving you a chance. If Tremont Mark had played even an average game and, maybe ended up with 10 or 12 points and shot 40% from the floor or something like that, like, Texas probably at least sends this game to overtime and has a chance to win it. I don't understand how they can keep. I don't understand how this fouling thing keeps becoming an issue. Like, you would expect that after this amount of time, I mean, what are they now? 21 games into the season. You would expect after 21 games into the season, almost two-thirds of the way through the year, that you would figure out you can't foul this much. And I get that
they just don't know how to defend.
I get that it part of that is also dependent on, like, the way that the refs call the game, but you shouldn't have to go into a game relying on which way a referee is going to call a basketball game.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a wasted year for Dalen Swain, Randy. I think that he's proving that he's a really good player and that he's an NBA. He's an NBA player. It's honestly not too dissimilar from what Trey Johnson was doing last year in terms of, like, hey, I'm a really good player on a really average team. Put some good players around me and see what happens.
No, it is. And I mean, like, this is the other thing at Tremont Mark. He didn't draw a foul on anybody else. If you're going to foul, if you're going to have 4 fouls, you're going to be a part of it, you have to go back on the other end. Because if you're able to create fouls on the other side of the ball, it creates something a little bit more applicable for the refs to go, hey, man, we should slow this down a little bit. We should stop calling so many fouls because we're calling on both ends now. Both coaches are mad at us. But if you can't draw them on the other end of the foul, on the other end of the court, you're just such a net negative in what everything is happening. And Tremont Mark was so out of it offensively. You know, when you're missing shots, you got to try and drive the bucket, get fouled, get up. Look, I'll give you, Modest knows how to draw a foul. Modest drew 11 fouls in that game. The dude knows how to draw a foul. He fouls, but he draws back. And so he kind of ends up as a net positive if he can stay on the court. But he was getting pulled off too because he'd get a foul and he'd get pulled out. And once he's out, offensively, they're so limited because Lucina Traore can't play offense really. So now you're at the point where you're just so limited in everything you're doing. I think that it's just tough. It's just really tough. And as far as Texas getting bounced, they could still go on a 3-game win streak right now. Like if they figure it out and Tremont Mark plays well and Dalen say they can go on I'm done
in the next 5.
Yeah, I'm done saying with this team, I know how they're going to show up the next game because they've just consistently been erratic and all over the place. That some days they're looking really good. This is a game again. They've gotten better than we're going to get blown out by Tennessee. I don't think we're going to see a lot more of those games. We maybe see one more this season where they really get, boat raced by somebody. I think they're going to be in these games. I think they'll be around, and it depends on, do they hit their shots late, and does Tremont Mark and Dalen Swain draw defenses? That happens, then they can win pretty much every game they play. And if it doesn't, they can pretty much lose every game they play. But I don't think they're getting boat raced anymore. I think they're starting to figure it out. They're not as bad as they were at all a month ago, but they're still not really good enough. So, again, they might make the tournament. They might not. They're not winning a game in the tournament. I can say that. They will not win a game in the tournament.
I really only see one more game on the schedule where they're probably going to get boat raced. That's probably Florida, just because they've got 3 big guys that can really hurt you. But I think they're going to be in every other game that they play, and I think that they have a legitimate opportunity to go, 5-0 or 4-1 in their next 5 games because they're not the most difficult games that you could play in the SEC. So I don't know. I agree with you. I don't think that they're going to be I think that they're like a kind of in the situation that they were last year in terms of like maybe one of the last teams in that like play-in games that they do. But I don't think they would win that one. I think it would be very similar to what they had last year. And, but that being said, if for some reason they get to March and Tremont Mark is putting up 25 and Dalen Swain's putting up 25 and Jordan Pope goes on a hot streak, then they could beat somebody. But you just can't count on that kind of stuff with this team because they're just too inconsistent.
Yeah. And Randy, you're right. Randy Conwell, that was the guy. It's Randy Conwell was like, or Ryan Conwell, sorry, is the guy they really needed to get to bring the Xavier over for a first season. Dalen Swain's a beast. The problem is he's probably going to be a lottery pick this year, so he's not going to come back, which is disappointing. That the way he's playing right now tells me you go ahead and take the money and go ahead and take on and go to the next level because I think he's going to be a lottery pick at this point. If he's not, there's a chance that he would come back to try and be a lottery pick and play better. Then the door is wide open. Now, you hope he stays. You hope he stays with Sean Miller. He's been a Sean Miller guy from the beginning. You'd have to pay him enough here at Texas, and that's going to be the big point going forward in the Sean Miller era is do the boosters and donors believe in Sean Miller enough that they're going to get behind this team and get him a roster that has more than 8 guys who can play basketball. Because right now, the fact that you're only able to play 8 guys it's just it's fine if you get to the tournament and you shrink your rotation. That happens. You should not have a shrunken rotation January 1st. And he has had a shrunken rotation since then. And it's going to be a continuous problem because the wear and tear. And you're one injury away from this team completely unraveling. Like, knock on wood. I don't want that to happen. But one player misses 3 games. Like, who are you playing?
Yeah, like if Dalen Swain turns an ankle, here's
the thing. If Jordan Pope gets hurt and misses 3 games, Do you compete in any of them? Simeon Wilcher
No.
playing 40 minutes a game?
No.
Like, and that's what I'm saying is like, I'm not a big Jordan Pope truther over here. I'm not like all about Jordan Pope, but I'm just saying like you're such a thin line because there's just no depth at a lot of positions that it just feels like you're really need a good game out of everybody. And this one you didn't have Tremont Mark. And once Tremont Mark started to push because he was missing his shots, he started shooting worse. He wasn't comfortable. He wasn't confident. And then that transfers over to the defensive end where he gets in foul trouble. And it just keeps going further and further downhill for him. And then he's on the bench. And so Sean Miller has got to, over the next day, next day, 2 days before Saturday, instill that confidence back into Tremont Mark, because if he doesn't show up at OU, it's another bad game. So he can't do that. And Simeon Wilcher, I don't know what happened. I really don't. For him to, put up, he played 8.5 minutes and no stats. Like,
waste of space, waste of a roster spot.
He's not really good enough defensively. And I liked him so much early in the season, and it just feels like it completely fell off. And you got to start figuring out somebody on this roster, because now you're like, well, if Simeon Wilcher is not, really adding, now you have 7 players. And Cam Heidi's a hit or miss, so maybe it's 6 players. And Lucina Traore gets involved. Maybe you got like 5 players who can play. Not going to win a lot of games that way. So the roster construction is going to be a problem no matter what. That's on Sean Miller, but it's also not there. And yeah, Nick Cody, I don't know what the deal is. I didn't think he played bad enough that he shouldn't be able to get in, and Drew shouldn't be able to get in. I don't know why. And look, I'll be completely honest with you, Randy. There's maybe 1 or 2 guys that I would really get mad about hitting the portal, and everyone else, I'm like, completely fresh start. I'm fine with a complete fresh start.
Who are those 2 players? Modest and
I'd really like Modest
Swain.
to come back. Yeah. Swain, you definitely want to come back, but really it's like Modest, and then probably John Clark, or one of the younger guys that's not really playing, that you'd like to see if they could come up and like step into that role. But yeah, Modest is pretty much the only guy that you're like, I'd like to see him another year, because I think there's like, we're a small breakthrough away from him being a much better player. Yeah. And so a year in the offseason with Sean Miller and everything else maybe could get there. And I love Kendall Weaver. I don't know if he's got another year left in him or not. I don't know what his eligibility would be, but it feels like he feels like he's played 4 years. Feels like it, like UT Dallas, and then 3 years at Texas now.
Yeah.
Unless you could get a medical for last year, I think would be the deal, that he missed so much of last season, but I think he probably played too much that you could not give him. But if you get him, I'd love to keep him as well. So put that. But Matt, so that's Texas basketball. Not the great news, not the big update that you want to have, but it is what it is. I did want to ask you a question a little bit. We'll do this before we get out of here. Kendall Balls, man. Kendall is he's one of those guys you love to have on your team. And I thought Cam Heidi was going to be more of that. Like, I thought Cam Heidi was going to be an energy guy, but he's not good enough to be that. Like, Cam Heidi feels like the guy that when you would play basketball when you were growing up, that just shot threes and then like dunked, like just attacked the basket with no one playing, but never really drove the rim in the game. He only shot threes in the game and just never really did anything other than shoot threes. So he got really good at that, but there's just not enough other game there. Like, how did you not, like, sometimes you have to take away the thing you're best at to get better at other things. Like, great players would go, I can dominate all day with my right hand. So this game, I'm only playing with my left, which I'm not as good at. It's going to be tough, but I'm just going to play the next week of games and pickup games, just my left hand. And try and lay it up, try and do that. Yeah, bring back Brock. I'm sure we can get another year of eligibility for Brock. He only played like 7 years for us. We can get another year for him. Hey, bring back
Brian Boddicker.
Bring back Cole Bott, the walk-on who never plays, but I believe Cole Bott was at least brought in by Shaka Smart and then played for Chris Beard, for Rodney Terry, and now Sean Miller. So I'm like, dude, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't play, but he's been a walk-on for that. But I'm like, that dude's been around for everybody. So it's an impressive thing because usually walk-ons like switch after a new coach. A lot of times they'll kind of get rid of the old walk-ons and bring on new guys. But he's been here the whole time. So I guess he's doing something right back there.
Great practice player.
Yeah. I mean, he must be. He must be a great practice player. Practice player, I can say. I wanted to ask you about little NFL talk as we're seeing more and more teams figure it out. Prince eBay. I remember Prince. I remember him. But I wanted to ask you about some of these NFL teams, Matt, of if they should rebuild or reload. And as teams are hiring new coaches and trying to figure things out, there's always a question of like, are you a team that's currently in a rebuild, or are you a team that you say we're close enough to figure it out, or we're not close enough at all to figure it out? And so like we can look at the Jets and say, well, they're in a rebuild. They're in it. Yeah, I don't know if they think they are or not, but they are. Like there's not enough there that we can even say you can restock because there's nothing there. But I think the Miami Dolphins are more interesting. The Miami Dolphins with the Tua contract, with the Tyreek Hill contract, trying to figure that out. They ditched a ton of players. You've now brought in a new GM and a new coach, Matt. If you're the owner and for the Miami Dolphins, is this a team that you're saying we probably need to be bad for a year or two? Or are you saying we should be able to compete in a division with a young upstart Patriots, with the team that still has Josh Allen in a 29-year-old Josh Allen? Should we still be able to compete in that world? Are you rebuilding or are you restocking if you are the Miami Dolphins?
I think you're rebuilding. And I know that it's a division that you can compete in. But I think you need to find your future at quarterback. And the quicker you get rid of Tua, the better. But you need to acquire the draft capital to go up and get a guy that's, going to be your future at the position. And I don't think that's in this year's draft. I think that's in next year's draft. So, if I'm them, I know it's tempting to want to reload, and I can see it an avenue where they could do it if they get rid of all this, Tua and Tyreek Hill stuff. But I'm always more of a fan of playing it safe, building through the draft and acquiring more talent. If I'm not on the verge of, like, I'm a couple players away from competing for a championship, and I don't think they are. I think that there's too many other things that they need.
Yeah, I'm with you. And by the way, if that's right, CB, they brought in Nathaniel Hackett. They hired Bobby Sloak as the OC and brought in Nathaniel Hackett. They're tanking. Like, that is a tank. Those are tank hirings right there. Mm-hmm. Bringing in some guys there. Yeah, I think you have to. You've gone too far down the road already with the defense that you just got rid of so many players on the defensive end of the ball that it doesn't feel like you're in a place to win right now in that division. I think you can do it within. I think you can do like a 1 to 2 year rebuild. I think you can do kind of what the Texans did and hit it quick and trade a couple pieces away for picks. Try and stock as many picks as you can the next couple of years, and in 2 years be really, really competitive. Like, your real goal is can we get really good when the Patriots have to pay Drake May?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's going to take them down a notch. And then if we can hit that window, that'll be a couple years later for Josh Allen as well. So maybe we can start to try and take over that place if they go in. Another couple places. If we look at the AFC North, again, the Browns are in a constant rebuild. The Bengals are not really in a place to rebuild because they just have too much money on too many contracts. You can't really rebuild with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and all. Like, you just have to keep kind of throwing stuff at the wall at that point, even though you probably should do some more. But you have to trade Joe Burrow, and I don't think you trade away your star players. Like, you're just never going to get them again. So until they demand a trade, hold that rebuild off for another year probably. Baltimore has Lamar Jackson. They're not going to tank this year. They're going to try and restock there as well. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, bringing in Mike McCarthy, who just won the division but fired their coach, bring in Mike McCarthy. Matt, Pittsburgh Steelers, rebuild or restock?
Rebuild. burn it down from the ground up, keep TJ Watt, DK Metcalf, and burn it down. Cam Hayward is up there. Like you got a lot of old dudes on that defense that are good players, but it's not sustainable to the point where you're gonna win consistently going forward. So I'm again, tear it down and rebuild it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, TJ Watt, you could probably still get some good stuff for him. I know he probably doesn't want to go anywhere, but go off and do that. Bring in Mike McCarthy to bring stability to your team as they rebuild. Give him for 4 or 5 years. You feel good about that for 4 or 5 years. And then when he gets to his level, he'll be like 70-something years old, and you can give him a gold jacket and or gold watch and tell him great job and hire your next coach and try and go off and be up to the races. But I think you're right that this is we need to kind of do that. And Mike McCarthy can keep the ship upright while we rebuild and try and get, a bottom 5 pick. Doesn't have to be the number 1 pick, but like a bottom 5, trade away some players, add some more talent in, through the draft, and then try and rebuild it with Mike McCarthy for a couple years and then pick it back up.
Yeah, here's the issue with any team that's trying to rebuild. You got to get your quarterback in as soon as you can in a rebuild. And this isn't the year to, especially with Dante Moore going back, this isn't the year that you can find that guy outside of even Fernando Mendoza. Like I think he's a great player, but I don't know that he's going to be an NFL superstar or not, So it's like, I don't know. It's a risk, but you have to do it. You just have to pull the plug at a certain point. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to run on the treadmill of mediocrity like the Bengals are doing and like the Steelers are doing. And it's just not going to be a good recipe for success.
That's pretty much your main teams in the AFC who are having that question. If we look over in the NFC, we could kind of say about the Cardinals, but
burn it down.
I don't know if they have. They're somewhat in a rebuild anyway. Like they have a bunch of young players. I don't know how many terrible contracts they have. It feels like they're already in a rebuild. Like I get the Kyler Murray, get rid of Kyler Murray, but you tanked this year accidentally. You weren't trying to when you tanked. So you're already in the rebuild. You're already there. The 49ers are an interesting one because they're still really good. But now you've lost. You're trading Ayuk. They've already said, we're getting rid of Ayuk. He's played his last game for the 49ers. We're getting rid of him. You have George Kittle starting to age a little bit more. Another injury for George Kittle where he's going to have to come back and miss some of next year maybe, or come back and maybe not be the same guy. Christian McCaffrey aging. We know the injury history there. You just feel like your piece is short right now. And I know you just paid Brock Purdy. This may not be a rebuild next year, maybe a restock, but it feels like that rebuild's on the horizon, doesn't it?
It does if they can't figure out the restock next year. Just because so many of your top players are aging. Even at linebacker. Like, they're in such a precarious position because they just paid Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Had they not done that and they let him walk, then I'd 100% be like, yeah, all in, trade Christian McCaffrey, get rid of Brandon Ayuk as soon as possible, trade Trent Williams, like get rid of everybody and start over. But the fact that you have so much money invested in your quarterback, he's going to keep you good enough to where you're not going to get premium draft picks. So and that's kind of the situation that Cowboys are in. Like if they hadn't paid Dak Prescott, then it's like, okay, this is an easy decision.
Yeah.
But I still think the Cowboys need to completely rip it down and start over.
We'll go. Yeah, NFC South, the Saints are currently in a rebuild. So it leaves you the Falcons, the Buccaneers, and the Panthers. The Panthers seem like they're headed the right direction. But the Bucs and the Falcons, the Bucs feel like they're still at least a year or two away from it. They may fire Bowles if he doesn't do it this year. And then you figure the rebuild would come after that. The Falcons, though, new coach, Stefanski's going. I have no faith in Stefanski. I don't think they're going to tank, but it feels like you need to. Like they have a lot of pieces around that team. They've got a lot of talent. Like I don't know why it doesn't work. So if Stefanski can't figure it out, then it's like you can't keep trying to restock. They trade away their picks as well to get They made that horrible trade to get another defensive end to try and fix their pass rush, and they're still just garbage.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up being up for Defensive Rookie of the Year, though.
Yeah,
so
but
that's
then take him with the
right?
first pick. You had two. You went, and so you got two guys.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, they do have a lot of young talent on that team. So that's a really interesting one where if you can figure out a way to get out of the Kirk Cousins thing and the, find a decent quarterback, improve your offensive line a little bit, get another weapon, I think that they could be a very interesting one. Because when you have a running back that's still in his rookie deal like Bijan, that's so hard to walk away from. Like, it's so hard to waste because running backs have such a short shelf life.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm with you.
I think they're a reload.
I think they are right now. They're a restock right now. But that division is just kind of like something's going to break in there real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Something has to break in there. The NFC North is on the other side of that, which is Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago. All of those are restocks. No one's even close to a rebuild there. Minnesota's probably the closest, but they're still a really good team, and they're a quarterback away. They still have Justin Jefferson. They still have some good talent.
Away.
They're just a quarterback away. So I don't know if there's anybody there that you look at. And then the NFC East, Giants are currently in the rebuild. They just brought in Harbaugh, try and take them that next level. They've got a lot of young talent. Washington has a young Jaden Daniels. So the same way you just talked about, you got a young, dynamic player in Jaden Daniels. Now, he wasn't able to stay healthy this year, and he wasn't as good this year. But Jaden Daniels, you can't rebuild. You're kind of in that middle ground of, hey, we got to try and figure this out. They trade for Laramie Tunsil. They're trying to figure out the pieces, and they think probably if Jaden Daniels change some coaching, if Jaden Daniels stays healthy, we'll be in the hunt.
Yeah, if they can get another weapon at wide receiver, I think they'll be a lot better. So they're definitely a restock to me for sure. The Giants are obvious. The Eagles are the Eagles. They're going to be fine. Just keep eking out games and getting to the playoffs and be okay. But that, I guess, brings us to the Cowboys.
That brings us to the Cowboys, and they're in the position of, the report today was they will most likely franchise tag George Pickens if he does not sign, if they don't reach a long-term deal with him. But you are now in the place, you have to rebuild your defense. And I don't think you have to do a full rebuild because your O-line's not like you have enough pieces in there to compete for the one more year or the 2 more years you really have the years with Dak. I think you can kind of move on from Dak after this year if it doesn't work out. Really, the best way would be to walk out after 2027. And I think your potential out there is not that bad. It's still not good, but it's not that bad. But I don't like, you just have to rebuild the defense. The offense was fine this year. The defense was garbage. So if you can try and draft only real defense and sign free agents in the defense and actually try and fix that defense in a year, then you can get back to relevancy. And then becomes a question of, is Dak the actual answer for the next 2 or 3 years? Or are we moving on? Do we try and find somebody that's in free agency or somewhere around?
Yeah. I mean, I jokingly said that they should burn it all down a minute ago, but honestly, their offense is good enough to win a championship.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they get another offensive line piece to bring in at left tackle or another guard and they can move Tyler Smith to left tackle. Their offense is going to be fine. They've got 2 first-round picks this year to go in and fix that secondary and that linebacker group. So if they can figure out a way to do that, like if somehow, God prays in heaven, Arvell Reese falls to number 12 and you can get your hands on him and then pick a good secondary player with your second first-round pick and then get a running back in the second round and then get another defensive player and then get another defensive player and then get another defensive player and then get another defensive player, I think that you actually have a chance to compete in the NFC East. Especially since they just got Brian Schottenheimer. So doing a rebuild again would be a mistake because you can't rebuild when you have a $231 million quarterback.
No.
So you have to at least ride out the Dak era, try to reload around him until you can get out of that contract, and then, So unfortunately, it would feel to me that the Cowboys are out of the Arch Manning race.
I believe they are. Good for Arch. We're going to take a second break real quick. We'll come back and wrap up the show with our meathead of the day here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Dan Covert with my wife Hayden. Welcome to Covert BK.
Our newest location in the gorgeous Hill Country includes Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and hundreds of pre-owned and certified vehicles for you to choose from. We have 3 service departments that are ready to take care of your car, truck, or SUV with 86 service bays to accommodate any repair and get you in and out quickly. Come visit us today to select the vehicle you've been dreaming about.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and we'd like to take a moment to thank all of our clients for making the last 37 years both fun and fruitful. If you haven't yet, I'd like to invite you to give us a try for all your home electronics needs. There's no need to leave your home to find great pricing and incomparable service. No traffic, inexperienced sales geeks, or pushy showroom tactics. We come to you. So just relax, hug your kids, and smile. We handle all the work. Just give us a call at 255-8678 or online at avconsultations.com.
Say hello to Jason and the gang over at Relax the Back. They embrace a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle based on 35 years, folks, of proven expertise, and my back couldn't be happier. Their motto is live wellness, and folks, they can transform your routine, your daily routine, into something very, very special if you have back pain. If you're struggling with thoracic problems, if you got hip problems, if you got lumbar problems, please go over to one of their stores. They got 2 great locations, and find out a chair or a recliner or a sofa that's going to fit you and going to make your life a whole lot better. I've got this office chair right here that I've been sitting in for years, and I love it. 2 locations, folks, at the Hill Country Gallery across from Whole Foods, and in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
SendTexTickets.com. If you're in the market for tickets to any sporting event, any concert, any Broadway show, anything live coming to town, you got to head over to SendTexTickets.com. The best seats to all of the biggest events, not just here in Austin, but all over the state and all over the country as well. It's so easy to use. Just log on your phone or computer to SendTexTickets.com. All of their tickets are 100% guaranteed, and they will be delivered right to your phone or computer. So simple to use, and you're also helping to support a local business every time you shop. SendTexTickets.com. So if you want to be at the biggest events in sports and entertainment, there's only one place to go. It's SendTexTickets.com.
Wrapping things up here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Almost down to the final day, but we've got time for another meathead here, Matt. Great story here from Tyrann Mathieu about when he couldn't figure out how to pass a drug test. Secret, don't do drugs. But he couldn't figure out how to pass a piss test and tried something that he read online. This is a warning to everyone out there. Do not just believe what you read online.
Ever have anybody go pee for you before, bro? Cause you know people do it all the time. Man, listen to me, bro. I done tried everything in the books. You know, I've used other people's urine. You know, they got the fake penises. I remember one time, I'll tell you a funny story. It's not funny. I could have died, but like a couple tests before I realized it was gonna kick me out of school. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting in a circle and I'm on Google trying to figure out, man, how the fuck I pass this test? Right. Like these folk keep threatening me, right. Right. And I'm just scrolling. And I come across some shit that said, man, just put some bleach in the top, the top, the top, put the bleach, put a little bleach in the top and put it in your Coca-Cola. And so I did that. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it felt like my whole insides was just like erupting. You know what I'm saying? I ended up throwing that shit up. And I was at that point, I'm like, man, fuck it. I done ran out of tricks. Right. I don't know what to do. And yeah, bro, like I remember sitting in front of that building, man, with a fucking a cap full of bleach in a Coke bottle. And I thought that was gonna save my life. It didn't. It backfired.
There is Tyrann Mathieu talking about how do you pass a drug test? Drink bleach. That seems like a great idea. By the way, do not drink bleach. I'll just 1 million times say this again. Do not drink bleach. Yeah, craziness.
I never really did drugs in when I was in school. My mom and dad listen to this show, so I got to make sure that I say that. But here's the real way. First, I have a couple things here. Here's the real way to pass a drug test. Number one, don't do drugs.
That's the number one way. It's the easiest way.
It's the number one way to not fail a drug test. Also, how many drug tests did LSU players have to fail before they got kicked off the team? Because he said, I had like a couple more drug tests that I had to fail before they kicked me off the team. Like, how many did he have to fail?
A lot.
Fail one and you should be suspended. Fail two and you should be kicked off the team.
A lot.
That is absurd.
Yeah. I dropped out of high school or dropped out of college to work for a band. So clearly I didn't do any drugs either. In my youth. Never. Not once. One more day, guys. One more days left here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. I hope you enjoyed us all day long here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. It'll be a ton of fun tomorrow. It'll be open gym. It'll be open bar, open gym tomorrow as well. We'll see how drunk we can get everybody. So we hope you join us tomorrow on the show as we wrap up Texas Sports Unfiltered. But until then, say it one more time. Be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean. We'll see you right back here one more time tomorrow here on Open.